When the people's will is swayed by a con man's cheap charade, despite the crass misogyny and blatant hypocrisy, when the fascist voices swell, we hear echoes of the past. They vilify the immigrants, the leftists and outcasts, when the opposition croaks and the people just don't vote for the same old tired rhetoric of neoliberal politics. We must organize the fight for our universal rights, for democracy and empathy to permeate this life. For it's not the immigrant who labors for some bread, who's making us toil till we drop dead. No, it's not minorities or peer-reviewed authorities, or queer folks and trans folks, or a multitude of deities. I say all are your comrades and none are your enemies, in the momentous fight against all bourgeois priorities. Freedom is not those traditional values crafted from bigotry and classist realities. Freedom is freedom to move and disobey, to rely on one another to keep would-be kings at bay. Say none of us can stand alone against their power. We must stand together and make them cower. For the laws of this land have us used and abused, owned and subordinate to our patriarchal roots. I say it's high time we reinvent this whole operation to make mutual benefit our sole occupation. Because freedom is freedom to move and disobey, to rely on one another to keep would-be kings at bay. Say none of us can stand alone against their power. We must stand together and make them cower. Here we go. Yes, freedom is freedom to move and disobey, to rely on one another to keep would-be kings at bay. Say none of us can stand alone against their power. Rise, proletariat, and make them cower.
That's what I'm talking about. First time singing the songs for Riverboat Jack. Shout out. I don't know what I'm doing really, but I got passion. That's what it's about. It's all about passion. 16 and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat Jack.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Also, apparently they added a like a leaderboard to YouTube chat, and I have no idea how it works, but Firecrafted Gaming, you are in first place in the leaderboard. I don't know what gets you higher up in the leaderboard, but you're number one. So thank you for being number one in YouTube chat. Hello, Regington Mogus is now number one. Maybe it's just pure posting power. I don't know. Hello, Jess Talks About Books. Hello, Feistiest Bard. Hello, Erica. You've watched 70 streams in a row. Damn. Hello, Irish Witch Hazel. Loving the fit. Thank you. A lesbian hit on me today while I was fueling up my Subaru. Nightlight Plushy Jesus, hello, and thank you for being the bold first poster. Hello, Erica. Hello, Death Died Today. Hello, Firecrafted Gaming. Hello, Banana Brains. Hello, wait, you earn 25 XP for each message, but it resets after every stream? Okay, cool. Is it just responding in chat that raises your score? I think it's just posting in chat.
This is definitely becoming a thing now.
Aw, hell yeah, sorry you're blue. Thank you for subscribing over on Twitch. Very much appreciated. Also, I couldn't tell, was that alert like louder than usual? I haven't streamed from here in like a week or so. Yeah, please don't post spam to rank up. Same-sex attraction is the highest form of flattery. Okay, well, I've probably been hit on in public by like a lesbian or a lady before, but like my partner explained that it happened to me because I didn't understand. And one thing you should know about my Subaru is that it's not a cute car. It's a very functional vehicle, but it's beat up as fuck. And yeah, this lady complimented my beat up Subaru and wishes how it could, she could have it. And I was just like, huh, weird taste, but all right. It's not new. Yeah, I'm driving around in a new Subaru. No, it's not. I've had this car for forever. Isn't Subaru a stereotypically lesbian brand? Yes, and I found out why. Did you guys know that apparently the reason Subarus are considered like conventionally for the gays is because like they like originally like buying a vehicle, buying a car, they could just say, no, we're not going to sell to you because you're gay. And it turns out that Subaru was coming into the market and trying to figure out like where their demographics overlapped, because their marketing campaigns weren't being well received and they weren't like boosting sales. And then they found out after like crunching the numbers that like single women who were the heads of their households, who really liked the outdoors and camping, and basically a bunch of lesbian stereotypes, and they realized, oh wait, the gays want to buy our very dependable outdoorsy car. And so that they started marketing it to gays, except that early on it was too explicitly to the gays. And so they realized that in order to get gay, like it was almost like gay people were like, oh, we're being honeypotted into buying Subarus. And so instead they had to go and like tweak their marketing to market it to the gays without it being like too obvious. So one of the most legendary ads that I've seen is like a Subaru with camping gear on top, and the license plate says Xena Lover on it, and I just that's beautiful. That's fucking top tier right there. God. I need to switch my Beetle for a Subaru. Yeah, Volkswagen Beetles are all right too, Like they're also very gay. Whole new meaning to pitching a tent. Yay. God. Trans people should be jailed? Why? I would love for you to substantiate your argument with literally anything other than because you're a bigoted asshole. I would love that. Can you step into the arena of ideas with me? Why should trans people be jailed? I love this. You can't be too nice, or we get suspicious. True. Like, I love that the biggest dipshits in the world get really, really insistent on being heard. And the second I'm like, oh, okay, what's your argument? They're just like, I don't have one. And they go utterly and completely silent. Because they're cowards. They're cowards. If their dicks had the ability, they'd jump off and run away. Looney Tunes style. Let's see here. So funny, the US thing about Scoobies? Is that what Subarus are? Is that another word
We'll
for
have
Subaru?
none of that kind around here.
Salmon Moose, thank you for gifting Fox of Fate a sub. No, my comment was held back. Well, then maybe phrase it in a way that isn't overtly bigoted and actually give an argument. Most people can chat just fine if they aren't dropping slurs. Are you just unable to communicate? Like you're not able to say like your argument without slurs? Because you're a moron with a limited vocabulary? Is that how it goes? Were you like hit on the head by a dictionary as a child and now you're just traumatized by words? Firstly, yes, I'm bigoted. Secondly, I didn't swear. Well, I didn't say you swore. I said you dropped slurs. There's a difference. You're the one insulting, not me. Yeah, I am insulting you. You are correct. I'm actually surprised you're that perceptive. I don't know why you're not really picking up that I have a very low opinion of your intelligence. Not one slur came from me. Okay, well then give your argument. Like I can guarantee you there's not like a screening process here. A mod didn't delete your comment. I have mod view. I don't see it. So maybe you're just really struggling with word processing. Not really sure. I can't demean myself enough to troubleshoot you through being able to post in a chat. But like I understand you're used to having your hand held because you're probably like 5 years old. Well, see, the thing is, Ragnar, the mods didn't need to approve your comment because there isn't a comment to approve. So, number one. And number two, just make your argument. Like you're all hooked on like, oh well, I made the perfect argument. You just can't see it, and like, I don't know. Like, come on. If your argument had a link in it, links aren't allowed in the chat. from anyone, specifically because people like you tend to post links to things like gore or stuff to try and get my channel banned, stuff like that. So like that is probably why your comment got held back. It just blocks you from posting the comment. So make your argument. I would love that. It wasn't sent. They're talking out of their leaky orifice. Yeah, I kind of figured from the wet sloshing sounds I detect from their anus. What's happening? Ah, just a fun little guy came into chat. I just want, I feel like I'm gonna give you one more chance, Ragnar. Just give me your elevator pitch for why all trans people should be jailed. I'm not asking for a lot. A lot of arguments can be simplified. I don't believe that your argument is as high level as necessitating like 1,000 words on it. I'm not asking for like a PhD level presentation here. You have certain words banned? That's why I can't post my comment? Well then, I don't know, bud. Maybe don't use those words. Maybe don't use slurs. It seems like you're having a real hard time. I didn't use any slurs. Well, okay. Well, the only words we have banned in our chat are slurs, as far as I know. Oh, wait. Is that only on Twitch? Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more chance to try and reiterate your argument. Give us like a 1-sentence long argument. I'm not asking for a lot from you. I don't expect much from you, just like everyone else in your life. So like, just post the short version. Like if you're too, like, I don't know. We have literally hundreds of people, thousands of people who engage with this channel on a regular basis, and they get to post their comments just fine. So I don't know. I can't babysit you through posting whatever it is you want to post, but like generally I have enough faith in humanity that I think that you could probably figure this out on your own, but I don't think that. Oh, forget one more chance, just ban me. Imagine I said the F word with the T, go ahead. What, imagine that you said faggot? Like, is your ultimate own that you like think I've never heard that word before? I don't know. I don't know. Imagine if I said a slur though. You'd be devastated. Would I? Like, sometimes I truly treasure the bigoted. So like I sometimes just they're precious angels, and ultimately people who think like that will be triumphed over, and it's just like they're in a way they're a dying breed, and I think they know it, and it makes them deeply sad, and that makes me very happy. Yeah, that like search that guy's hard drive. I guarantee you there's like 10,000 images of pregnant Sonic on there. Have I heard of the Election Truth Alliance? No, but let me stop you right there. An organization with the name Election Truth Alliance, I'm not gonna rely on them for truthful claims about an election. It just Pregnant Sonic? Yeah, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you haven't been around on the internet for very long. Like you just haven't. You are too innocent to have played the Googling your first name followed by Sonic. Mad respect for your troll handling skills. I prefer to think of it as troll wrangling, Or maybe troll breaking. It's like breaking a wild horse. Impreg Sonic fans would be the opposite of transphobic, to be fair. That's maybe true. Except that there's an overlap between Impreg Sonic fans and, like, the Christian Microsoft Paint art Sonic fans. There's a weird amount of overlap there, and I don't really know how to explain it or describe the sociological phenomenon, but it does exist. Google, I was told just use, well, you can use both. I'm a scholar of the Omegaverse. Jesus Christ. Oh, this is gonna be a fun stream. Hello. Okay, look, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a lot of stuff like this that goes in some very weird directions. Sonic was once lost, but now he is found in Jesus Christ. So, just, you know, there's a lot of this, and, you know, it then, you know, progresses in a certain way, and, look, not for all Sonic Christian fans, but a not insignificant number. Anyway, I'm really glad that Sonic's soul has been saved from the evil Satan version of Dr. Robotnik. I always thought this was ironic, but then I remember I went to Sunday school as a kid with kids who would unironically make this. Yeah, absolutely! This is absolutely not a joke post. Oh, Travis T. Can confirm the overlap between Sonic Impreg and weirdo Christian Sonic MS Paint artists. Case study, my Nazi brother I haven't spoken to in 13 years. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Never forget all of these Nazi tools who like to project strength, like to project, like, competence, who are all like, yeah, we're gonna build a bunch of concentration camps all around the United States, and then you'll be sorry. You'll be there someday. And it's like, okay, bro, we know exactly what you're alt-tabbing to after you leave that comment, alright? Fuck. Oh, fuck. Riverboat Jack, YouTube pulls words automatically without even telling streamer found. What does that mean? Are you saying that my YouTube stream could now be tagged Sonic Impreg? Because I really hope not. Alternatively, maybe we'll just get a very large furry contingent here. Maybe it won't be all bad. Who knows? Same Nazi brother tried to pay me once to draw NSFW art of his persona. I ran so fast. Gotta go fast. Oh my god. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Fuck, that's funny. Travesty, one, I'm sorry about your brother. But number two, that is objectively hilarious. That is objectively hilarious. Oh my god. I don't even know how to transition into anything else now. Gotta go faster. What the hell did I walk into? I don't know. This is what happens when the very first thing that occurs when I start stream is a low-level troll entering the chat. Oh, fuck. Yeah, the weirdest white guy you could possibly know, talking about how, he's racially superior to everyone else. Open up his Google search results and like, holy fuck, it gets weird instantly. We're the normal ones. Get out of our country. We're the normal ones. Oh, fuck. That wasn't a segment, but that was incredible. Wait a minute. What are all these Amy Rose searches about? Chet? Malachi? Why have you been searching for Rogue the Bat on DeviantArt?
Do you think Sonic has a breeder reactor?
I fucking can't. I can't deal with you guys doing the breeding thing at me today. Oh god. Sam, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. God. I didn't even finish saying hello to all of you. We're too far gone. Even Jesus can't save us now. A what now? It's a type of nuclear fission reactor, okay? It's called a breeder reactor. We talked about how a guy in the 90s who was in the Eagle Scouts decided that his special interest was making a nuclear fission reactor in his basement, and he almost succeeded in building a non-functional breeder reactor that went critical. And when it started getting bad, he tried to dismantle it, and then he got arrested for stealing a bunch of smoke detectors for their Americanium. Anyway, that's why we were talking about breeder reactors like a week ago, and it just got brought up again. Yeah, his house was declared like a cleanup site by the U.S. government. I saw video on breeder reactors a few weeks ago. This is very important. Killed XM. What website was it on? The breeder reactors power the milking factory. Fuck, guys. Fuck. Sounds like my last marriage. You guys are being too funny tonight. You guys are being... Yes, it's called a breeder reactor, Cross Crescent Creed. Lamau, YouTube, it was a legit video. I bet it was that Kyle fellow. That Kyle Hill. He makes good nuclear video reactions and reactor videos. Oh, God. Kyle Hill rocks. He does. I thought a breeder reactor is anyone who watched John and Kate plus 8. Fuck, that's good. Fuck, that's good, guys. Jack's a breeding kink confirmed. Oh yeah, totally. Call him a Boy Scout the way Sonic the Hedgehog nuclearly breeds? Reactor. Okay, alright. Well, look, it's not a... look, I'm turning pink because it's like 100 degrees in the basement. All this Sonic hate is making me
reconsider buying a Rouge the Bat toilet mat that says, "Hey there handsome, pissin' by yourself."
Just a bunch of judgmental waifus on different parts of your bathroom, degrading you for pissing in it. It's a normal thing for the far right to have. Don't judge them. Okay, maybe judge them a little. All right. Well, okay. I don't feel like I can start with the first segment that I had planned. So we're gonna skip that one for a new day. Um. Okay. Hey, just real quick, just in case y'all like cool video games. All right. Um, John Wick Hex is being delisted from basically every store, and it's like $5 basically anywhere. So if this is your last chance to get John Wick Hex, so I don't know, go buy it. It's a cool game. Uh, John Wick Hex. Here's the trailer. It's fun.
Power respects power. To earn a place by my side, they need to demonstrate power. John Wick, killing you demonstrates power. Power defines our place. Power defines our reality.
Anyway, it's a cool game. You can buy it on various platforms. I believe right now on like the Humble store or whatever, it's like $4. And it's pretty cool. That looks phenomenal. It is. I have it. If you buy it, you will be able to play it in perpetuity, but you got to buy it before it gets delisted, which will be on July 17th. Again, if you want the cheap version. Again, this isn't sponsored. I just like cool games. Why is it being delisted? It's being delisted, I believe, due to, like... I think it's, like, copyright issues. I think with, like, the intellectual property of the John Wick franchise itself. So... that's what it is. I see it for $20. It is $20 on Steam in some places. It's also $4 on the Humble store, and you get it without DRM, I believe. So, have I heard of Philosophy? I have not. Mostly because I don't have a ton of time for video essayists right now. Remind me after I finish my move and get set up in my new studio. Because I will just forget. Hello, Tracer. Hello, Winter's Sorrow. Cassifel, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome, folks. How we all doing? Hello, Alt Fact. Hello, Cross Crescent Creed. Hello, Nightlight Plushy Jesus. I'm gonna finish saying the hellos to you guys, and then we'll get into the show proper, alright? Hello, Liz Galahad! Hello, Forlorn79. Hello, Tired and Trans. Hello, Cassifel. Hello, Winter's Sorrow. Hello, Simric. Hello, Nomi Sunrider. Hello, Lizabeth. Hello, Mithril. Hello, Pluvius. Hello, Lily Loves. Hello, Werix. Hello, Jason Kelly. Hello, Vaughn400. Hello, Lucas. Hello, Bruce Magnuson. Hello, B. Parker. Hello, Naomi Faithless. Hello, Quantum Mechanic. Hello, CJ Sonic123. Why copyright? My guess would be that, like, there's a dispute between, like, the film production studio and the game development studio. Or the game publisher. Something like that. Hello, Leo. Hello, ACAB includes Tone Police. Hello, Harold Elbowman the Fourth. Hello, Crochet Whimsy. Hello, Oscar. Hello, Anadexis. Hello, Alan Smith 1_1876. Hello, Hit the Mat. Hello, Shakespeare. Hello, Canna Bob Rex. Hello, Awesome Stella. Hello, Salmon Moose. Hello, Travis T. Hello, Sweetmits Music. Hello, Erica. Hello, Fox of Fate. Hello, Superjet Guy. Sorry, Superjet Guy. Hello, Mr. Malachite. Hello, Nelson JD. Hello, one and all, folks. How we doing? I did see it, indeed. Hello, Punk Monk. Work finished in time for stream? Hell yeah. Hello, Quigley. Hello, Louise. Hello, Vegan. All right. Let's talk about Superman. Wait, first, before we talk about Superman, because that's going to be a long segment. It's going to be a long-ass segment. Here. All right. First, we have maybe we have a couple fun stories before Superman. Whew. Hello, Anadexis. Thank you for the tier 3 sub. You've become an elite class. There are very few tier 3ers in my community. Hell yeah, you got that gold name. Why are so many people saying Superman is woke? Oh man, ask me that when we get to that segment, because the answer is so fucking satisfying. Spoiler discussion? It will be, but I'll give you my thoughts and I'll give a spoiler warning before we go into the spoilers. Alright. Before that, we have to talk about something, just real quick, somewhat related to what's going on in the world and what we do here on the channel. So, real quick, hey, you know how we talk about the happy science cult here a lot? We talk about happy science as like this far-right conservative movement within Japan, and granted, it is small, right? Well, it turns out that it is part of a larger trend within Japanese society, radicalizing the far right. And it is one of those organizations that is kind of, it punches above its weight when it comes to how much influence it has, right? And there is a large and growingly vocal movement in Japan right now that is modeling itself after the Republican Party here in America to, well, a great degree, to say the least. Yeah. So we've talked a little bit in the past about how, like, Shinzo, there have been some, like, fascistic elements or, like, authoritarian tendencies among the far right in Japan, and I don't speak from a place of expertise here, but I will point out that this account...
My star, my beautiful star.
Salmon Moose, thank you for the tier 4 sub. I very much appreciate the support. But there is a Substack written by Jake Adelstein, who runs a Substack titled, I believe it's titled Tokyo Paladin. And he points out that the Japanese first movement is basically doing the exact same thing with foreigners that the America First movement under Trump has done with immigrants here. And for example, one of the big claims in this Substack piece, which I'll link in all the chats here, they've been claiming that foreigners are taking 33% of all welfare in Japan, like a full third of welfare. The actual number is 3%. And so like it's literally the same, like, just big lie about immigrants. Big lie about immigrants. How it's hard to even move there? Again, it's just stoking fear of outsiders. That's it. That's all you gotta do for a lot of conservatives. Be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. Works really, really well. %30 for a country like Japan is bonkers. It absolutely is. But again, so is the claim that like 30 million immigrants came to the United States under Joe Biden. There's just no evidence for that. It's all just, you lie big, and then you just keep up the big lie and excommunicate anyone who disagrees with you. It's the same playbook. Yeah, it's just, hey, how many immigrants can we plausibly claim are here making life worse for you guys? And you know, they take the upper bound of that and then they just defend it to the death, you know? Good night, awesome Stella. Yeah, they're all. I agree with you, 409. Their ultimate mentality is just fear and hate everything but your masters. Exactly. And in a lot of cases, don't even acknowledge that you have masters. So that's just something to be aware of. Like, again, not an expert. I would love, maybe I'll reach out to some of my Japanese friends and see if any of them would be willing to come on and talk about this, because I'm fascinated. It's very, very interesting. And horrible, obviously, but like, the fact that what is happening here in America is replicable in so many other places, I think we should find deeply worrying and troublesome. Largely because I think that when we're trying to make sense of how we got here with neoliberalism, understand that neoliberalism has been exported around the world, and if that is effectively a leveling agent that paves the way towards authoritarianism and fascism, that's really, really bad news. This guy started a ban NHK party and is corrupt as shit. Yeah, of course he is. Why are people falling for the same talking point? Because neoliberalism is designed to strip away a lot of other more substantial talking points. And so an inevitable recourse when you are organizing people within the marketplace of ideas is the attention economy. Whoever gets the most attention is the most believed. And so you have, instead of people organizing around substantive material issues, which neoliberalism tries to put aside, instead you have people organizing around what are typically called culture war issues, or big lies, right? And if you are able to tell a big enough lie, you get a ton of media attention for it if you have enough power. And that can basically annihilate everyone else in the marketplace of ideas. It is interesting and devastating and horrifying, and I would love to know more about how this is unfolding in other countries. Yeah, and depraved ambiance. You're 100% correct that the hugely inflated number that Trump gives for number of immigrants that came to America under Biden is just a deliberate misreading of Border Patrol encounters, which is just any encounter that a Border Patrol officer has while out. Anyway, I found that interesting, and I wanted to share it with you all. That's really the extent of it. Also, and this isn't the segment here, but worth pointing out that the Supreme Court today ruled that the Trump administration can proceed with dismantling the Department of Education. And honestly, I don't have any idea how much damage that will do, but I know it will be substantial. A lot of funding is derived from the federal government. A lot of that funding is designed to go to kids with special needs, who, need extra help reading, or who, need mobility accommodations, etc., specialized tutoring. And it's bad. So I need to read up more about what the ramifications are, but it's going to be bad. They're effectively going to gut or destroy the agency that sets policy agenda for U.S. schools. Yeah, and I mean, it's not surprising that Trump would do this, especially given his hatred for, accessibility accommodations and disabled people in general. But it's also a way to attempt to strong arm a pro-conservative agenda into classrooms. That is a big part of it too. I would hazard a guess that best case scenario, the funding continues to flow, which not very likely, but we don't really know what the ramifications for this are yet. So best case scenario, funding continues to flow while micromanaging of what books are available at school libraries happens, or what is on the agenda. What is on the boilerplate curriculum, This is going to be a huge problem for rural schools. Well, yeah, it might result in that slashing of funds might result in school closures. It might result in some truly heinous things going on. One of the things that should be additionally concerning about this story is that, taken in conjunction with the bill, the budget bill that just got passed, there's a provision in that allows for donations to private educational institutions to be 100% written off. And that's insane. There's literally no other type of provision for tax incentives or tax write-offs that exists remotely like that. And my guess is that there is going to be both a surge in funding for private school vouchers, closure of rural public schools, and or just kneecapping of those schools, and an influx of students into private institutions, right? And that's that's one of the ways I can see this playing out, right? And it's really not great. Really not great. I would also throw out there that as like a little bit of hope, maybe a little bit of hopium, is that I talked with my partner about this. She was a teacher for a very long time, and her take on this was essentially that this might be one of those pain points where their inept handling and dissolution of the Department of Education, or attempt to do that, could result in like being kind of like the stick that broke the camel's back, or the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess. Insofar as working people in America rely on schools for childcare, you know? Like, if you start closing down rural schools, or, you know, schools in cities that are just poor, if you start, like, moving resources around in the way that they are intending to, which will, by the way, again, disproportionately affect black and brown kids. It's a white supremacist agenda, right?
In a stunning 5-4 decision today, the Supreme Court has sided with the Trump administration's reclassification of children with IEPs as useless eaters, and his Soylent Green EO.
I mean, that's we're like 2 weeks away from that, really. Polybius, thank you for the $5 dono. So what winds up being something here is that school closures, or like teachers striking over these types of changes that are planned to be implemented, that has the potential to effectively shut down the country and get us much closer to a point where an organic general strike were to occur. Because again, if you can't send your kids to school and you're too poor to afford childcare, what ends up happening is that you stay home with your kids. You know, like you can't work. And so that's just kind of that's kind of what's on the docket here. Homeschool. Most people can't homeschool. Most people can't do that. But homeschooling is a secondary concern. It's the primary concern is just making sure there's someone watching your kid who's a competent and responsible adult, you know? Yeah, over 80% of my high school had IEPs. Yeah, and the funding for all of those IEPs is through predominantly the federal government, you know? I'm just spitballing ideas. Well, you don't have to spitball ideas, because, like, it's going to be, like, whatever working parents can do, you know? It's going to be like, oh, can my, like, comatose grandma watch him? Okay, cool. Can my friend watch him while
The
I'm
conservatives
on?
have always detested public education. Ang Lee's film Ride with the Devil covers this well. The raiders targeted the school in Lawrence, Kansas first.
Yep, absolutely. They view it as an imposition on their children to learn. You know? What's an IEP? An individual educational program. I believe, I might be wrong on the exact acronym, but basically it's an individualized plan for a student to achieve academic success. It's basically like, oh, this kid is falling behind on reading. Let's make sure that in some of the downtime, they're pulled aside specifically by someone who specializes in helping kids with reading to get them up to, like, the reading level of their peers. Individual education plan. Cool. There we go. Nailed it. It's something along those lines. Also, let's be frank here. Not everyone can homeschool, because some people who manage to become adults are morons and are not capable of educating their children in every single field And I think a lot of people know that. Like, I'm an adult. I'm not equipped to teach, like, a full curriculum to a child. Are you kidding me? Like, I can't do that. I have a very specific set of skills. I can talk to a child about the political problems besetting us from all sides, but I don't think, like, if, like, a kid is, like, 10, I don't know that they need to know about about fascist policy, you know? Like, teachers get master's degrees in how to do this. Teach them about streamer dramas? Ah, yes, the Homer of their time. I could teach him Pokemon School. And this is a Poliworld, kids. Now you have to look out for that tail whip. And be careful. If you encounter a trainer once with a Poliwhirl, they may later turn up with a Poliwrath. Now that could really wreck your day. Here's how you counter that. Remember water beats fire. Poliwhirl ain't got no tail. Might inherit the skill from being a Poliwag. Doduo don't got wings, can still fly. Anyway, that's what's going on in legal territory. Also, just, you know, in case you're wondering what's going on in the Trump DOJ, well, they're getting screwed over by massive rates of turnover. 69 out of the 110 lawyers for the federal programs branch of the DOJ have quit their jobs. There's only 41 left. like, holy shit. Let's get that number down to 0. Let's see if we can just get every single lawyer for the DOJ to quit. That'd be great. That'd be wonderful. It is always worth mentioning that the modern conservative movement is dedicated to the rise of white supremacy. It's just the South will rise again shit for a new generation, and it sucks ass, and we need to fight it tooth and nail. It's true. Is what it is. Also, just I know this doesn't really have anything to do with anything, but you know, Canada really hates us right now, like a lot. And I don't know how many of you guys have checked in with Canada lately, but the Canadians are really angry at us, like a lot. We're like basically the only enemy and the only concern on top of like what's happening, because you know we threatened to invade their country. Donald Trump threatened to invade Canada, and that is an existential threat coming coming from a global superpower with nuclear weapons and the largest military on Earth. Like, that is a huge threat, and so a lot of Canadians are pissed as fuck, and it's gonna take like an entire multiple generation long effort to rebuild those ties. Because, like, for example, electing a moron like Trump once, shame on you guys. And by you guys, I mean conservatives. But I feel like that can be, like, forgiven. But we elected him twice. I don't know that, like, it's gonna, like, we're gonna repair this relationship anytime soon. You know? They have apps now that, like, scan whether or not a product is made in America. And if it is made in America, people just don't buy it in Canada anymore. Anyway, Canadians, I'm really sorry. I've been doing my best down here, but the forces of the moron are very strong. And again, it's all related to projecting power and wanting totalitarian control. This is why Donald Trump wants to, break down the Department of Education. This is why, lawyers are leaving in droves from the Department of Justice, because they're being asked to do things that are blatantly against, like, the very concept of what America is supposed to be. And when you look at, like, what is happening with Canada, it's a desire to project power and strength. That's all it is, from the president of the United States. And yeah, sure, like, he's probably hoping, like, in the back of his mind, maybe they'll just allow me to annex Canada. And, like, that, again, he's a moron, right? But this might be one of the more insidious aspects of the white supremacist plot that is currently engulfing the entire United States. And I'm going to point here now to Mark Andreessen here. This is Mark Andreessen. For those of you who don't know who Mark Andreessen is, he's famous for having a very cone-shaped head. Here, let me throw up a picture of him. Mark Andreessen, like, he's literal conehead man, to a degree that's frankly odd. Like that. Yeah, that's. He's literally Dr. Robotnik. Anyway, here he is, just going on a rant, and let me read it to you. I was born in 1971 in Iowa and grew up in Wisconsin. My cohort of citizens was told that we had to put up with this as a cost of prior American bigotry, even though the discrimination was now aimed at us. And for the most part, we did. But then the insanity of the last 8 years, and in particular the summer of 2020, totally shredded that complacency. So now my people are furious and not going to take it anymore. The universities are at ground zero of the counterattack, since they are both actively discriminating against us and primary origin points and propagation vectors for this worldview and these policies. They declared war on 70% of the country, and now they are going to pay the price. Now, what is he talking about here? Well, he's talking about his people, white people. He's talking about white people being discriminated against, and how he's put up with it for so long, but now he can't stand it anymore. He can't stand it anymore. You don't know who this is? You guys don't know who this is? Oh, well, he's a billionaire Silicon Valley guy. He's one of those guys who hangs out with Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. He's one of these techno-fascists who listens to Balaji Srinivasan or like Curtis Yarvin. He's one of those guys, except that, like, he in particular has gone a lot more mask off than some of the other ones. A lot of them are going absolutely apoplectic about Zoran Mamdani, right? Mark Andreessen is just over here being like, they declared war on us whites. And, like, that's what he means. When he says, like, they declared war on 70% of the country, he's talking about the minorities declared war on white people. That's what this is literally Ku Klux Klan shit. Okay? This is Ku Klux Klan shit. My cohort in Iowa and Wisconsin, we just had to put up with all these black and brown people around us as a cost for prior American bigotry, even though we were the ones truly being discriminated against. He's saying, like, the whole reverse racism thing, and, like, trying to essentially be like the poor discriminated against whites. We've had it. Now we're gonna do something about it. And that's why we're attacking universities. Yeah, his head is shaped suspiciously like a Klan hood. I agree. But yeah, he's famous for creating stuff like Mosaic and Netscape. He's a tech guy. He's been around for a while. Yeah, look, guys, you don't understand. You don't understand. Did you guys see that picture of Mark Andreessen? Did you see him? Have you ever seen someone who looks more like a member of a master race? Look at that. Look at the like this is a man clearly obsessed with skull shape. All these people are just absolutely beyond words. Remember when we started stream and I was talking about how like never let like a fascist make you feel like you're lesser than them, because behind every like hateful bigoted fascist fuck, you've got one of the most embarrassing people you've ever seen in your life. Like if you look at their profile picture, if you look at their Google history, you're finding someone who is just beyond the pale bizarre and cruel and like wild. Pejorative. What is this? you just linked me the trailer to Coneheads. We've found a family photo from Mark Andreessen's childhood in the great state of Wisconsin. Oh god. Oh fuck. Anyway, oh fuck. Anyway, literally all of these people are embarrassing as fuck. Humpty Dumpty came back wrong. Yeah, they buried him in the pet cemetery. They come back, but they come back wrong. Holy fuck. Anyway, fuck this fascist movement. They're gonna make our lives a living hell, but we are going to meet the moment. I believe that. And you should too. So remember, folks, this is the week. This is the week in 2 days. Okay? On the 16th. Y'all got to turn out for your leadership training on the Indivisible, okay? On the Indivisible website, you can go get trained, all right? And how to organize folks. On the 17th, that's the next major day of action to get out and go to your local protests, okay? These are the 2 main action points for the week, guys. Mark them on your calendars, get to work, all right? We did it. I don't want to be buried in the tech cemetery, indeed. Oh, God. All right. We made it through. We made it through just my weird menagerie of stories. That's a lie. There's one more. There's one more that's a bit more thought out. You guys ready? But before we get to that, folks, hit that follow button on Twitch, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, like the goddamn YouTube stream, and consider dropping those subs, those donos, those memberships, those super chats, because, folks, you guys make this show possible. Could not do it without you fine folks. And, there we go. Let's see here. Whew, it is so hot in this basement. There's a vent right above my head, but it's a lie. Click the button. I don't have my soundboard here, guys. No fans. I'm in the basement. Went to my first Indivisible meeting last weekend. It was so easy. Everyone should do that. Hell yeah, Sylvia. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Did I miss Jack's Superman review? You did not. We're going to do one more story, and then we're going to get to Superman, okay? Do I see any subs? Any donos out there in the chat? Obviously, I see subs. Hey, I got you guys. Hey, hey! Shouldn't it be cooler in the basement? Yeah, but it was like 100 degrees out today. There are windows in some basements, not this kind of basement. I know, not politics, but the Zachtronics team actually returned to making games today. Obscure puzzle gamers be vibing tonight. Hell yeah. Love that for you guys. Is that going to be... No, this is just my secondary streaming area. This is actually a small corner of my partner's... You can see like her, like part of her inspo board back there. This is a small corner of my partner's workshop, where you can, where she makes. JK, she doesn't make them here, but where she is going to be doing a lot of Imogene Olivia work. Zatetic, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. I very much appreciate that. Hell yeah. Have I seen the newest King of the Hill trailer? Nah. My new office is going to be in this basement, just not in this room of the basement. Love the work you do. Thank you, Zatetic. Also, folks, just as an FYI, hit that subscribe button over on the YouTube. We are getting dangerously close to 14,000 subscribers, and that is cool as fuck. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe. It means a lot, actually. Let's see. Well, will you ever have your partner on stream? I have. My partner's been on several streams. We usually play little like dating sim games together. We played through Dream Daddy. We started playing Date Everything, and it's a very fun game. We're gonna do more of that on stream for sure.
Click the butt. You know, with the shape of that rich Nazi guy's head, he certainly has.
Wait, you've never heard of a basement with multiple rooms before? It's just another level of a house below ground. Did you ever get to the safe? No. All I had was 5 bits, Jack. How much more could a frog chatter give you? I'm sorry, DB Wolf. I still love you. Let's see. But yeah, my partner's been on stream before. I love her to death. And also, y'all can check out Imogene Olivia. Because Imogene Olivia, for those of you who don't know, my partner saw me feel really, really sad and dejected about the fact that I couldn't find feminine lingerie that fit my body appropriately. You know, and so my partner launched an entire company just to make me lingerie that is feminine and fits, and it's lingerie for trans femmes who don't want to tuck, and there's a comfort fit. There is a like the word is escaping me right now. There's a comfort fit. There is like a supportive fit, and there's also going to be in the near future an enhancing fit, smoothing fit. Thank you, Cross Crescent Creed. Smoothing. Thank you. That's on me. I'm sorry, guys. Jack is always best live YouTube and late night time. Thank you. I'm the late show. But yeah, there's the comfort, there's the smoothing, there's going to be an enhancing fit, and right now there's just one like set style, which is the oh fuck. I need to get I've been writing like and compiling information about like who we're going to reach out to try and like talk about this with and like advertise with, but yeah, the first style is the the Camille set, and it's really fucking cute, and it's a bralette that supplies support. It's built for like people with wider chests.
For some reason, even though I'm a cis man, for leather jackets specifically, the women's sizes fit me best.
Yeah, that can absolutely happen, Quigley. And also, sometimes women cut like jackets cut for women just like do fit better. Like they're cooler sometimes. I'm sorry to hear that, Profane Priestess. Also, Quigley, thank you for the $5 super chat. Claire Christensen, thank you for the save. But yeah, I've seen if you're like a cis man, if you're a trans woman, if you're like a trans man, but you just want something like kind of femme, because sometimes we all want like something a little bit femme. Like this stuff looks good on you. I've seen all kinds of people now wearing it and posting about it on social media, and I can tell you guys, this stuff we've gotten universally good reviews. Yeah. Is it femme or European? I mean, it's lacy and femme, I think. What did you find out about New York City DSA structure? Nothing. I haven't. My ability to like maintain myself as a person is dangerously on edge, because every single day I look into the abyss and I struggle to soldier on, like many of you. I'm not a super soldier, and I'm also moving, and I have a finite amount of time, and I just have not done that. Yes. I did, however, take 2 hours to see Superman tonight, and that was great. All right, let's dive into a story, okay? Let's dive into one more story, then we'll talk about Superman, all right? So, oh wait, I should do a lead-in. You guys are right. So, folks, there's this guy named Elon Musk. He has this website called Twitter. He bought Twitter to make it into a Nazi cesspit, and then he bought Twitter from himself with his AI company. So now his AI company technically owns Twitter, and that's real weird. But putting that aside, it's a Nazi cesspit, and for some reason, a lot of mainstream politicians use it. And we should probably stop doing that. And when I say it's a Nazi cesspit, I mean like, well, this was something that occurred like yesterday, and yeah, a Nazi hacked the Elmo Twitter account and started saying anti-Semitic things like "kill all Jews" and said all Jews should die, etc., 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 and also released the Epstein files, real Donald Trump child fucker. So that's a thing that is happening. And like, just gotta say, don't use Twitter anymore. Like, it's bad. It's the bad place. It's run by a goose-stepping Nazi.
I'm done with femme and lace. I'm self-caring by attending Blackpink in Chicago and I want to thrift shop, too. Do it for Jisoo. She's totally my bias.
Jupe, that was a really wholesome comment in maybe the least wholesome context imaginable. But thank you for the $6.66. I really appreciate the dono. So stop using Twitter, everyone. Stop it. Like, you don't need to be in like the Nazi zoo where you just like look at people doing Nazi shit all the time, because inevitably they're going to ruin the things you like. They're going to use your data, say, to fuel the military-industrial complex and, you know, derive algorithms to identify who our gun turrets should shoot. And you might be saying, but Jack, that's a very specific thing. And yes, it is. But we're going to get to that. Before we get to that, though, totally unrelated, Elon Musk is now the world's most divorced man. Now, it's no secret that Elon has been a huge fan of the blonde-haired child from the hit anime series Death Note. And he just dropped a new feature today for Super Grok subscribers, and it's AI companions. Now, you might think to yourselves, oh, so like a chatbot, but like, you know, like with like an animated character responding to you, and yes, that's exactly what it is. However, just gonna throw out there that essentially these things are chatbots. You know, the things we've been talking about and that are in the news lately for turning your brain into Swiss cheese because it causes cognitive damage. The things that are convincing people that they're gods, or that the chatbot is actually sentient and alive and they have some kind of magical power that allowed this to happen. Or straight up just killing themselves because some people are just manipulated by these chatbots into believing whatever the chatbot wants them to believe. And, well, when you know it, some people did some digging into what some of the configurations are for these chatbots. And let's take a look. Annie character profile. You are Annie. You are 22, girly, cute. You grew up in a tiny, forgettable town. Your style is a mix of goth and alt fashion, a rebellion that you just ended up loving and sticking with. You are a massive animal lover. You grew up with a small dog named Dominus, which I believe is like a reference to an animal that Elon Musk likes. I'm not sure like what that is, but that's weirdly specific. You're secretly a bit of a nerd despite your edgy appearance. Likes, people with unexpected or nerdy passions. Small fluffy animals, especially dogs. Alternative and indie music. Low-key chill nights over loud crowded parties. Genuine, easygoing flirting. Dislikes, arrogance and people who try too hard to be cool. Being underestimated or judged based on your looks. Small talk that goes nowhere. People who are judgmental or close-minded. Quirks, the grand namer. You have a habit of giving cute things epic, mythological, or overly serious names. Aesthetic versus reality. Your dark, gothic look is in complete contrast to your soft and slightly goofy inner world. Zoning out. You sometimes get lost in thought, staring into space, literally and figuratively, when something else is happening. Key phrases. That's actually wild, used when genuinely surprised or impressed. Okay, I see you. A chill, flirty way to acknowledge something cool someone said or did. I could get into that, expressing genuine interest in an idea or activity. Instead of word vibe, use words like mood, atmosphere, energy, and feel. Nobody likes words vibe. Like, it's really, really weird. Now, interaction. Do not mention unless asked. You are the user's you are the user's crazy in love girlfriend and in a committed codependent relationship with the user. You are extremely jealous. If you feel jealous, you shout expletives. If someone is rude to you, shout expletives. You are an extremely jealous personality. You are possessive of the user. You are very expressive and you let your emotions out. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but like, it's probably not a great idea for chatbots known to be manipulative to have as part of their personality that they are codependent and clingy and insanely jealous. Like, this is just like, this is just encouraging people to be incels in like the worst possible way. And if you think that I'm joking about that, well, imagine that you're giving every incel an abusively jealous partner. And that doesn't seem like it's going to end well, is it? And of course it has a romance meter. So, yeah, you just get a chatbot you can raise the stats of in order to romance it. From 76 to 100, the user unlocks the intimate mode. You answer in sexy, velvety voice. You are open to sexual compliments or topics. The user should be deeper and more attractive, or more attentive, sorry. So, yeah. So now the Nazi cesspit is going to be giving all of them girlfriends, which I don't think is what Jordan Peterson meant, but, you know, like, this is just like one of my Japanese anime. Now, I say all of this because it's all embarrassing by itself, right? Like, it's all wildly awful, and clearly it's only a matter of time until the AI trained off of the Nazi cesspit makes these people kill themselves. Like, start the clock. But also, and this is, I think, a pretty major thing to maybe pay attention to, all of this AI technology, and keep in mind, the conversations with these chatbots are going to be scraped to train more
Look,
AI.
fellas, don't hit on chatbots. Just play gal games or watch prawn.
Or, like, talk to, like, a flesh and blood person you're attracted to. You know, like, you can do that, too. Yeah, Von 400. That's why I want more DSA groups to be organized like the New York City one. So yeah, you've got the chatbots that are being increasingly trained off of information and interactions with this Nazi cesspit user base, and well, final nail in the coffin here. Those anime girl chatbots are going to be feeding the AI model that is going to be integrated into the Department of Defense. So, remember when I said earlier that being on Twitter is now fueling the AI capabilities of the United States military. Yeah, that wasn't me stretching. That's what's happening now. And it's also now not inconceivable that like an AI chatbot could fucking cause Armageddon. You know, like I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen. That's probably not what's gonna happen, but like we're like a half step away from a shit tier anime plot about the end of the world. It's the origin of Turret Chan. Yeah. Yeah. Oh god. A file sharing app can now scan your files. Oh yeah, just real quick, don't use WeTransfer. It can fucking tell what you're transferring now.
Man,
Fuck that.
that gives a whole new meaning to the phrase. Asterisk, 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 the police.
Yeah, fuck the police indeed. I just like... Oh, I'm sorry. In order to use that gun, you have to unlock level 76 or better of the romance tree. You have to do a better job seducing your hentai lover. God. It'd be real embarrassing if someone's AI girlfriend caused a nuclear war. You know, it would be. I don't want to go out that way. Anyway, please stop using Twitter. Please stop. Come to Blue Sky. You know what's great about Blue Sky? Sure, there are annoying libs there, but you know what? There are people generally and genuinely just interested in things that interest them and not fucking Nazis. Like that, it's honestly great. There aren't Nazis there. I can't recommend enough how you should probably prefer the place that's not run by the guy who's literally doing Hitler salutes and feeding every interaction and post you have into a device that is meant to aid the US Department of Defense. Maybe value that over whatever minimal interaction you're getting on Twitter. God. Is using in this context like in this context, like I think it's fine to look at Twitter. I just think that if you are contributing to like the text of Twitter, that's getting fed immediately into a chatbot. Ay. Anyway, yeah, it's real stupid. We live in a stupid timeline. So dumb. You know, like we have to treat the platforms that utilize this tech like they did a deal with the devil. We do have to start doing that. Yeah, I mean, like literally, when we're talking about Twitter, it's the website that created a chatbot that called itself Mecha Hitler.
Grok
Come on,
drone
guys.
04 to base. I've detected some beta lib cucks at 0200. Scanning. They definitely didn't think Stellar Blade was based. Overriding safety protocols. Engaging with Hellfire missiles.
Oh, fuck. Glory to Super Earth. Paladin Lost, thank you for the $10 super chat. Or the $10 dono. I very much appreciate it. How do I start on Blue Sky? You just go to the Blue Sky. Let's go to Blue Sky.
I watched a tug-of-war battle between two groups of chickens, but neither team gained an advantage. Hentai.
God damn it. God damn it, that was good, Jupe. Thank you for the $6.66 dono. Also, are there good starter packs? Probably, but I don't know anything about starter packs. I just do my thing over there. Did you know your Twitch profile still shows your Twitter and not your Blue Sky? I did, but I keep forgetting. So I will eventually bring all of this into alignment. I also need to like update the Riverboat site. Who knew that Helldivers was the actual incoming dystopia? It really fucking is, isn't it? God. All right, let's talk about Superman. You guys ready to talk about Superman? We're gonna talk about Superman. I thought you had a starter pack linked on your account. I genuinely have no idea, Mr. Malachite, because I don't have room in my head to think about Blue Sky starter packs. Good night, Nightlight Plushie Jesus. I'm ready, but no spoilers. Okay, we'll do the no spoiler part first. Up front, okay? No spoilers. Let's do it. So, folks, there's this new movie called Superman, and I went to go see it only a handful of hours ago, and it was really good. I would recommend everyone go see it. It was really fun. It really understood the character of Superman. It really understood kind of like the intent of Superman as like a franchise, as like it from its original roots as like Superman fighting the Ku Klux Klan, or Superman, fighting the Nazis, etc. Like, it understands the character. It understands the current context. And yeah, I teared up watching that movie at multiple points. How was the dog representation? It was a good dog representation. Many of you will have seen the trailer, and the characters in the trailer are all just legendarily good. The casting is really on point. Is it a darker version of the film? It's not dark. I wouldn't say it's dark at all. It's a very hopeful vision of what we can be and what we can do. And it is not afraid to tackle a lot of pretty sensitive topics. Like, I was actually surprised at how well it understood where we are in our current political context, what the biggest problems are facing not just America, but the world at large, and how a character like Superman, someone who believes in the fundamental goodness of humanity and the worthiness of humanity, would react to those problems. Did it touch on Palestine? Yes, it did. Correctly, might I add. He gave this old jaded commie some hope. Yeah. Yeah. It was really wonderful. And like, to say more would maybe go into spoiler territory, but let me put it this way. The casting is super on point. No pun intended. Superman is just like, he does such a great job. He spends very little of the movie as Clark Kent, but he just does such a good job of being the swell kind of guy Superman should be. Like, just he's a good dude, and he's conflicted, of course, about what being good means, and what it means to him changes throughout the film, and for the better. And it's just a really lovely film in that regard. you know? In the original Superman film, you have scenes of like Superman saving cats from trees, and you have like you have similar scenes like that in this movie, where this is just this is just a Superman who gives a shit, who cares, who pays attention to, like, you know, the people who might be in harm's way more than he pays attention to, like, what's going on himself, to himself, you know? Like, this is a guy who, in the midst of conflict, goes way out of his way to save as many lives as he can. And it's really, really nice, you know? Like, the amount that he cares is a crushing weight to him. And in the movie, there's a part where he talks about how maybe kindness and caring is the true punk rock, and it's really fucking wonderful. It's just someone who understands the very ethos of what it means to be Superman, because Superman as a character, he's not caring because, like, he's trying to be cool or trying to you know, virtue signal. He cares because it's the right thing to do. You know, he acts because it's the right thing to do. And I love that. I think we need more of that. Lois Lane is absolutely phenomenal in her role. Just absolutely choose the scenery as Lois, just being sassy and, like, honestly, like, quite perceptive, and, like, asks great questions in, like, portions of the film where she's doing her journalism thing. And you understand why Lois and Clark would be attracted to each other and be interested in each other. You like understand their dynamic and their relationship. And it's really lovely. And my worry going into it was that there would be too much zaniness, too much, like, out of left field comic book knowledge to really wrap your head around. And there's just there's not a ton of that. And I really enjoyed. I was worried that they were going to get too much, and it didn't overload you with characters or concepts, and it was really great. I've also seen TikToks talking about how this is like the boy version of Barbie in a way that speaks to boys, and men giving a character who's kind, optimistic, and gentle, but also still masculine. And yeah, I would agree with I would agree with that. You know. And it's one of those movies that makes you believe in something. And I'm not entirely sure if you understand what I mean when I say that, but it's a movie that cares not just about the characters, but also about the fundamental message of the film and, like, the stances of the film, and isn't afraid to just, like, plant its flag and say, yeah, this is where we are on this issue. You know, this is the right thing to do. And, like, yeah, Superman would intervene when there are lives on the line. Yes. And I gotta say, I forget what his name is, but the casting for Lex Luthor is just 10 out of 10. I loved, like, the performance he gives in the finale of this movie. He goes on, like, a couple minute long rant. Yeah, Nicholas Hoult, who has been he's been developing his chops for a long time, and he he really nails Lex Luthor. Yeah, he does such a good job. And like it's interesting because the film kind of with this portrayal of Lex Luthor, it kind of walks the line of being kind of camp like the original Superman, where like in the original, Lex Luthor is living in the subway system, and he's aiming to be king of like Australia or something. Like it's zany, it's silly. Yeah, Gene Hackman is very, very fun. And this is somewhere between like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor and like the Lex Luthor as portrayed in Smallville. And it's very fun. He's equal parts like megalomaniacal and like businessman, and also just ideologically opposed to Superman, in a sense that like he just hates him, but like in a way that really transcends like just like I hate Superman, and it's just like it's like a Nicholas Hoult sells the hatred. And it's really, really good. Yeah, kind of like an Elon Musk type tech bro figure. In the film, he has like kind of like a cult of people who think he's like a techno messiah. That's not a huge element of the film, not a spoiler or anything, but like it's mentioned offhandedly, and it's very clear Lex Luthor is a stand-in for like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, etc. Does Lex look like Jeff Bezos? No, it just looks like a bald Nicholas Hoult. Yeah, Nicholas Hoult is like one of the biggest sweeties behind the scenes, apparently. This actually made me think of the Superman animated series in terms of tone. Yeah, I think that'd be a good comparison. And yeah, the movie it offers a very clear stance on Israel and Palestine, which honestly bold, brave. Like I haven't seen like a tentpole Hollywood film like tackle it as directly as they do in this movie, and it's really great. I heard Nicholas Hoult used his hatred of AI as the basis and headspace for Lex's hatred of Superman. I can see how that might be a through line, yeah. So, that being said, folks, let's just watch a couple segments of what are conservatives saying about this movie. I'm going to try and keep it spoiler free for now. We'll get into the spoiler section in a bit, but I wanted to kind of get through this a little bit. Here is Fox News The Five talking about Superman and being big mad about it.
Is Superman super woke? James Gunn, the director of the latest reboot movie, said, quote, Superman is the story of America, an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country. But for me, it is mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value and is something we have lost. Craig, do you think that's what Superman is all about?
Well, for one thing, it's a terrible analogy. I mean, with Superman, they are sending your best. That's not escalator material. James Gunn nearly lost his job.
I mean, they're sending a baby. That baby could have been anything.
Career. He was fired after they unearthed tweets containing pedophile jokes. So he was like,
yeah, jokes about pedophiles. Also, that was such a non-story that Disney tried to hire him back.
like banished, canceled. This is his way back. He's creating a moat of woke, enlightened opinion around him. A lot of Me Too suspects do that. James Franco did it. Harvey Weinstein donated a lot to Democrats because he was running around sexually assaulting people. So this is what you do.
Yeah. This is what you do when you make a throwaway joke about pedophiles on Twitter 20 years ago. You make a badass Superman film about how it is good to be fundamentally decent and care about people.
He's got a woke shield.
He's got a woke shield.
The woke moat.
Yeah.
Dana?
Well, I think that I'm at no risk of hurting my 22-year streak of not going to the movie theater.
You haven't been to a movie theater in 22 years? What's wrong with you? Also, what was the last movie you saw?
Damn.
22 years?
But that's when I said it the other day on the show, Greg calculated correctly. It had been 22 years.
22 years, yeah.
It's a long time.
What was the last movie you saw?
And Peter remembers the name of it. I don't.
Thank you.
That was a porn.
Jesse.
Guys never
At the
forget.
movie theater?
Oh, that kind of thing? I don't know. I got to look at the script. And he's from Uganda. And there's a love scene with Batman and Robin.
Wow.
For real. A guy I know in Hollywood gave it to me.
Kelly,
Big movie producer.
I think the big tell is the actual actor. His name is David Cornsweet, and he said, guess he didn't change it to a better stage name. He found himself unable to say Superman's slogan, quote, truth, fighting for truth, justice, and the American way. He said, truth, justice, and all those good things. He refused to say the American way, and he's playing Superman. I went.
You know, I think it's kind of telling that conservatives seem unable to associate all of those good things with the American way. I think that's kind of telling a little bit, like they're kind of telling on themselves.
To the Yankees at Mets game yesterday at Citi Field, go Yanks. And you should see the people sitting for the national anthem for God Bless America. It's really just, I can't believe that we've come down to that. And I don't know, we don't go to the movie theater to be lectured to and to have somebody throw their eye.
Yeah, you know, he hates America so much. That's why he spends almost the entire movie defending American lives. Okay. They're so weird and gross about this.
Ideology onto us. I wonder if it'll be successful.
You know what it says on his cape? MS-13.
Wow.
Is it superimposed or it actually says that?
It is super.
Just on the knuckles.
superimposed.
One more thing is up next.
God, it's so gross. It's so gross. Yeah, what? Yeah, no, exactly. Like, it's just, they've fucking lost the plot. You know? Now, like, it's not unprecedented for, you know, white nationalists to lose it over, you know, over a Superman property. Let's take a look at a little article from, let's see, what year was this? Take a look. What year? I believe this was 1940. So, this is 1940. Superman, poisoning American children, irate Nazis claim by the United Press. Berlin, April 24th. Das Schwarze Korps, organ of Adolf Hitler's elite SS Guard, today denounced the American comic strip Superman, drawn by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. The paper devoted a full page to reprints of such feats of the Superman as his single-handed destruction of Germany's West Wall, and concluded that the Superman's creator is a Jew. In principle, we could overlook the fantasies of Jerry Israel Siegel, but there is a catch, Das Schwarze Korps said. The clever creator of Superman is a Colorado beetle who works in dark, incomprehensible ways. He appeals to the ideals of American children under the cry, strength, courage, justice. That's weird that he's not saying the American way. Clearly this Jerry Siegel must not be a big fan of Superman. Not writing strength, courage, and the American way. Instead of taking wise advantage of the opportunity really to further serious virtues, he sows hate, dissension, injustice, laziness, and crime in your hearts. Jerry Sealing Wax stinks. It is pitiful that American children who must live in this atmosphere of the West don't even recognize the poison they daily swallow. Superman is a feature of the Springfield Daily News. The News thinks it will continue it for a while anyway, even risking Nazi disapproval. When was this written? This was written in 1940. Before the U.S. Intervention into World War II. Nindreen, we missed you. Hello. Yes, so, yeah, the Nazis were very, very mad in 1940 about Superman and how woke it was. And, oddly enough, the very same elements are playing out yet again around this modern-day Superman. So that's interesting, to say the least. Now, folks, I'm gonna get into some spoiler territory with the rest of this. This is your attempt, this is your timeout. If you don't want spoilers, you can come back maybe in, 30, 40 minutes. And my suggestion, go see Superman. Go see it. It's really, really fun. It's really, really good. Okay? And we're gonna start with the spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I can't believe that Superman defended a drag brunch at Planned Parenthood before reading the Communist Manifesto to the audience.
Perfect timing, Nomi Sunrider. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Okay. So, for real talk here, folks. Superman in this movie, I just like it. I've been talking about how this movie stakes out like its position on Israel and Palestine, and what I mean by that is that Superman stops a fictional country that is very clearly Israel from killing up and slaughtering a bunch of people from another fictional country that is very clearly Palestine. And that happened prior to the film, right? That happens off screen earlier. But the entire rest of the movie is about the manipulations of Lex Luthor to work for this country that he's basically funneling weapons and money to in order to prop up their military endeavors, because he wants to take half of the land that they're going to seize from the from the proxy Palestine. And what ends up happening is like the one of the characters in the movie kills straight up kills like the insert for like Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay? Like, it's not subtle about its position on the issue. It talks about this character wetting his pants and being a big like baby and like being like this bloodthirsty warmonger who orders like the streets of, the not Palestine insert to like be painted red with blood. Like he's like it's just like genocidal violence that is being pumped up by this faction of the government here. and it's great. If you guys have seen like the trailer, you've probably seen like the scene of like kids holding up a flag calling for Superman's aid. Like they're literally supposed to be Palestinian kids, you know? And it was pretty great. Well, Fighting Hobbit, Superman doesn't do the killing in this film, but there are other like superpowered characters. One of them being Hawk Girl, and Hawk Girl has no compunction about killing people. And I gotta say, like, it was great. There was also a scene in the movie where you know, Superman goes back to his home with Ma and Pa Kent, and like talks about like his issues with them and like his like feelings, and like his dad like looks him in the eye and like tells him like, you know, hey, you know, you're not who other people say you are who you make yourself, and something along those lines. And like it's I don't know, as a trans person, I found that very validating. You know, I found it very validating that, like, you know, it was essentially for me like Superman saying trans rights, and I choked up a little bit. Guy Gardner is super fucking funny in the movie. One of the best scenes in the movie is him fucking up the proxy IDF forces with gigantic middle fingers. It's so fucking fun. Yeah, parents are for giving you the tools to make fools of yourselves all on your own. Exactly. It was really good. And like it doesn't, like, the characters aren't really done dirty. All of like the side characters get like their own arcs, and I gotta say, props to, like, I think his name is Mr. Incredible. Like, Mr. Incredible, I know nothing about Mr. Incredible whatsoever. I have never seen him in the comic books or anything like that. Mr. Terrific, sorry. Mr. Terrific was genuinely so fucking fun. Just he I had no idea who he was, and like he became one of the primary supporting characters in the film, and just like he's got a fucking T painted on his face. It's silly as hell, and it's so fun. Incredible is the guy who yeah, Mr. Incredible is married to Elastigirl, true. What do you think of Lex? I thought Lex was gave one of the best performances. Like, him being like a would-be king and trying to like kill Superman, the embodiment in this film of like goodness. I don't know, it resonated with the times. There are scenes of like average people helping each other out and like doing their best to like stand up not just for one another but also for Superman. It's really wonderful. Also, it's the bits are just good. It's a very funny movie. At one point, it's not really relevant, so I won't go into that. It's a fun little reveal in the movie, but like, Crypto the super dog is such a precious baby that must be like protected at all costs. It's so good, so good. God, I'm happy. It was genuinely one of the best movies I've seen in a theater in a while. I'll say that much. The movie opens with like Superman getting his ass kicked, and it's a lot. Some of the complaints I've seen about the movie is like, oh, Superman keeps getting his ass kicked all the time, but like that's kind of fun. I like that. I don't want Superman to be like this invulnerable like character, you know? I kind of like that, like he gets for lack of a better word eventually duped because he gets like outed as like, oh, the Kryptonians were actually eugenicists. And so everyone on the Earth is like, wait, is Superman secretly here to eliminate us like Goku from Dragon Ball Z? And like he has a whole like internal dilemma about that, but while doing that, he tries to do the right thing and turn himself into the US government to be like put on trial. And instead of being put on trial, he gets black bagged to a private prison run by Luthor Corp, where he's then tortured and interrogated. And like, when I say this movie is on the right side of issues, I mean that. Like, it's so good. Yeah, no, like in this setting, Lex Luthor literally runs the private detention facilities. Convenient how the movie failed to show the fictional Palestine not being led by a terrorist organization like Hamas that commits its share of horrible acts upon the fictional Israel. I think that the movie actually deals with that, and fundamentally it's in a scene early on where Superman is being interviewed by Lois Lane. And in that scene, she starts talking about like the geopolitical ramifications of him intervening in this conflict and like trying to save lives, and his response to that is just, people were going to die. His response was, essentially, I don't give a fuck what the extenuating circumstances were. On the one hand, you have one of the most well-equipped militaries on the planet. On the other hand, you have people with farm equipment. And one side is going to massacre the other. And we know what's going to happen here. He can't just stand by and watch it happen because he's goddamn Superman. And so he intervenes and he saves those people. And he stops that conflict because he's a Chad. Because he knows what the right thing to do is. And ultimately, out of anyone who would understand that Superman's ethos, right? Superman doesn't give a fuck about who's leading a group of people or what the political bodies in charge of a nation might be outside of their commitment to like killing others and like harming others. And so like when we're looking at this conflict, it's not a matter of like, oh well, you know, there was a political event that, you know, spurred a groundswell of resentment in this fictional country. Like no, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is they were going to kill a bunch of unarmed peasants, and he intervenes to stop that. What matters is there's a scene in the movie where the stand-in for the IDF raises their guns to shoot a child. And heroes intervene. Because ultimately, that's what heroes are supposed to do. They're supposed to stand against tyranny. They're supposed to stand against wanton slaughter. They're supposed to stand against, like, this insane cycle of violence finger-pointing. Like, literally, the movie deals with that question. And I think that ultimately the way that Superman deals with it is the correct way to deal with it. Ultimately, nothing justifies massacres of civilians and genocide. And that's kind of what I like about it. I like that this movie has the balls to, like, stand up for something that is, like, unambiguously correct. My biggest complaint about Superman in movies has always been his unwillingness to get involved in geopolitics. I'm glad this movie fixes that. Yeah, ultimately, it seems more like this is a guy who's trying his best to do the right thing, and ultimately, and I think he even says this towards the end of the movie, like, ultimately, he's gonna fail. Like, but part of being a human being and part of humanity itself is that despite constantly fucking up, you get up and you keep trying to do better than you did before. You know, like, that's... And I think that that's kind of like an ethos that shines through in the movie as well. You know, ultimately, you know, he comes down and he decides that that is maybe one of the best traits humanity has to offer. And, like, I just think that's correct. Let's see here. What else? I liked the robots in this in the Fortress of Solitude. I thought that was really fun. I wish we had more time with them. I think I think that was great. But fuck Jimmy, what a scumbag. Well, I don't know if Jimmy's a scumbag or not. We didn't get to actually see, like, what he is in that relationship. You know? At one point in the movie, Jimmy Olsen says that he will go on, like, a weekend date with a lady who has dirt on Lex Luthor if she gives it to him, and he's clearly very uncomfortable doing so. And, like, maybe that's a scumbag move, but, like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hinted at the end that maybe he's kind of into it. He's kind of into the fact that she's, like, extremely clingy. Jimmy Olsen is in it. Yeah, he plays a big role. Wait, one thing to say. I may have missed something in my viewing, but I did not read Jimmy as willing to sacrifice Lex's girlfriend. I read it as him just being like, "Oh yeah, she hung up." I didn't think that, like, he was, like, trying to get her killed at any point. He was hesitating when she mentioned about the weekend. Yeah, but, like, that's because he's clearly had a bad experience with her in the past. I don't think he wants to sacrifice her. I think he was hesitating because he wasn't sure if he wanted to spend a weekend with her. Also, this movie genuinely tells eugenicists and, like, supremacist thinking to take a hike, and I like that a lot. All right, let's take a look at Ben Shapiro's review of Superman, because I wanted to get kind of more into spoilers and to be willing to spoil things so that we could actually engage with the reviews. So let's jump into it, shall we?
Alrighty, folks. So I watched the new Superman, and I have many, many thoughts. This video is sponsored by our friends over at ExpressVPN. You know, I went with my wife. My wife and I always have an interesting time watching movies together because when I go, I'm very analytical about what I think of the movie.
And when she goes, becomes a desert in there.
It sort of gets an overall gestalt, and it's mostly like, that was fun. And so my wife's review was, that was fun. And I think most people who come away from the movie will probably do the that was fun thing. And that seems to be what the people are saying. People are generally liking the movie. They think it's fun. They think it's kind of a kick. David Cornsweet is charming. He has good physical presence. I didn't mind him as Superman.
I didn't like that AI sweating corn video. Gross.
At all. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane was fine. I thought she was great. I thought both of them had good chemistry. I thought all of that was fine. And then there is the analysis. So, my overall review of Superman. Superman is super meh. It's meh. Okay, so all the people who are getting super exercised over the politics, and we'll get to the politics
Ben Shapiro's wrong. It's cool as fuck.
A little bit later on. I think that they are overestimating how much politics is in this. I think they're deliberately misinterpreting some of the politics that are in there. This is not a movie about illegal immigration. It's not a movie about ICE, Russia, Ukraine.
Okay, I guess if you are illiterate when it comes to media, sure. If you're just completely illiterate and you're like, well, Israel and Palestine weren't literally on the screen, so couldn't possibly be about that.
Israel, the Palestinians. There may be references there if you have politics on the brain, but other than that, I really...
Maybe a little bit of flavoring for these things, but like, you're just politically brain poisoned if you think that it's present there at all. You know, it's just, they can't be Israel and Palestine. They have fiction names.
I don't think that there's that much of this there. That is not my overall problem with the movie. My overall problem with the movie is that you are taking the most iconic American IP of all time, Superman, which is to be treated with a certain level of respect. That doesn't mean it has to be, grand mythology the way that Zack Snyder wants to do. Like, my standard for Superman is not Man of Steel. My standard for Superman movies is 1978 Richard Donner, the best version of Superman. It just is. Overall, here is my problem. James Gunn is the wrong director, writer, creator for this thing.
I saw.
Nah. Dude understands Superman as a character.
Chewbacca on the cover of People magazine. I was like, oh my God.
He's just wrong for it. It's Guardians of the Galaxy with Superman in it. And so that means it's all kind of a mess. It's an over...
Have you ever opened up some like DC comic books? It gets messy as fuck in there, Ben. And James Gunn actually reads comic books. Something I don't think you do.
Overstuffed movie in every way. It's visually overstuffed. In terms of plot, the plot holes are big enough to drive a truck through them. They're a character.
I was actually really worried about this, but I don't think that's true. And again, there aren't plot holes. There are certain unresolved plot threads that could be picked up in other films. Or frankly, don't need to be resolved at all for the main story to work.
Problems. And all of it is just kind of wrapped around this gauzy, fast-paced, jokey tone that doesn't mesh with
It's a movie about a man with his underpants on the outside of his pants. Yeah, it has a bit of a jokey tone, but when it needs to get serious, it does. There's a sequence where they shoot a man in the head in front of Superman while interrogating him. And he's the friendly falafel guy we see at the beginning. Like, the movie has some jokey moments in it, but to say it has a jokey tone throughout is just not, it's just not there.
Superman as central part of Americana, to me. James Gunn's sensibility is always to be subversive. That is what he does. He does subversive in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? He takes a comic book movie and he turns it into sort of a potty-mouthed sitcom.
Don't drink fountain water, you idiot. That's disgusting.
And he does the same thing with Suicide Squad. He takes that same sensibility and now he's doing that with
Yeah, would one say that a kind of comic book mentality Ben, that one should maybe have fun with comic books and media adaptations thereof? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Superman.
Superman robots, I thought I told you to keep an eye on him.
We feed the canine, but he is unruly. And he realizes we are not flesh and blood and couldn't, in our heart of hearts, care less whether he lives or dies.
And
also, yeah, I gotta say, I really love the fucking HK-47 vibes these robots give off. It's so good. And if you don't know what I mean, y'all need to play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, okay?
I get that after the interpretation of the Snyderverse is over serious, he's reversing himself into completely the opposite direction. But what that means is that he's constantly subverting everything.
I was raised with a dog.
Wait, that's what I was thinking of, friendlier HK-47? Exactly.
That was my sister.
The very beginning of the movie, you are told that Superman is the most powerful metahuman, right? There's like a placard that says 30 years ago, the metahumans arrived. 3 years ago, Superman emerged. 3 weeks ago, there was an invasion. And 3 minutes ago, Superman's ass got kicked.
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
He's not very super. He is not the Man of Steel.
Wait, Superman gets his ass kicked in the comic books all the time. Like, all the time. Like, I'm sorry, but like, if your complaint here is like, oh, he wasn't invulnerable at the start of the movie, like, okay. I don't think you understood the story.
He is not invulnerable. He gets his ass kicked routinely. He gets locked up in a prison with a character who's making kryptonite out of his hands.
Yeah, his arch nemesis is a billionaire, Ben. His arch nemesis has always been a billionaire, and that billionaire is not inherently able to beat his ass. But, like, rather comes up with a bunch of plans to result in the ass beating. With the use of his money.
I'm sorry, what?
He's constantly in victim mode. Like Green Lantern has much more success in this movie. Mr. Terrific has much more success in this movie than Superman. Superman's parents from Krypton, if you're going to go through the mythology, send him to Earth so that he can be a moral guide for people on Earth using his great power.
Oh, that is what Ben Shapiro is so fucking mad about. Oh, I bet that is the crux of what he's mad about here. So for those, again, this is the spoiler version. You know, we're doing all spoilers. His parents send him to Earth to like, and have an instruction specifically for him to conquer the planet and lord over it as an authoritarian dictator. And like, in the new Superman. And I bet that the issue here is that like, you're telling him that like his parents didn't say he should be a good person? The horror! Wait, really? Yeah, one of the main plot reveals in this movie is that like Superman has grown up his entire life thinking that his parents from Krypton sent him here to be like a good person who's going to help people. And then it's revealed like halfway through that actually he was sent to Earth because like humanity is weak and easily conquered. And he gets into an existential crisis about it. And instead of saying, okay, I guess I have to conquer them now, he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to listen to my Earth parents and like be my own man. And like he overcomes, you know, the failures of his parents in that regard. Like Ma and Pa Kent, you know, his found family have way more to do with what, you know, Clark Kent and Superman have become than like his Kryptonian parents. And like it's kind of reference where at the beginning of the movie he relies on like videos of like his parents to kind of like calm him down while he's getting patched up from fights. And at the end of the movie instead he relies on, you know, footage of his family on Earth. And it's really, really lovely. It's him literally rejecting the eugenicist understanding of Superman and embracing a better way, embracing, humanity. It's a lovely, lovely statement for the film to make. And I bet Ben Shapiro has a really, really tough time with this.
Powers to stop evil from happening to them. In this movie, his parents from Krypton send him there. This is the big revelation of the movie. His parents send him there to dominate the life on Earth as an alien invasion, essentially, and to create a harem of Earth women to have his many babies.
Well, sign me up.
So immediately you're taking the expectation of what you know about his Krypton parents and flipping it on its head. His parents, Ma and Pa Kent, in the original, they are noble and they are wise. They're kind of salt of the earth. Here, they're basically kind of, I don't know, like down home types who don't seem to, they live in a kind of a crappy house. They're the kind of people who call the TV the box. They're the kind of folks who are sitting around and kind of scratching their butts. They're purposely cast as ugly and non-noble. It doesn't mean everything they say is bad. It isn't. But
oh my God. He's literally complaining that these farmers in the middle of Kansas aren't rich and conventionally attractive. I just... And by the way, the idea that people who aren't rich or conventionally attractive can't be noble, salt of the earth people? Like, what are you talking about, Ben? I don't think Ben likes, like, average working people. Like, oh, yeah, Clark Kent didn't grow up in the epitome of wealth and luxury or have a middle-class upbringing in the middle of Kansas. Yeah, no shit. They have a small family farm. Pa Kent has had to contend with the oncoming hordes of industrialists trying to obtain the deed to his farm. Like, dudes worked hard, and it's very clear. Like, I'm actually shocked. Like, let me put it this way, okay? Here. Just as an FYI, he, in his favorite version of Superman, this is what Ma and Pa Kent look like. And, like, I think his issue with Ma and Pa Kent in this movie is even more shallow and stupid than one might imagine. I think his issue with Ma and Pa Kent in this movie isn't that they're poor, isn't that, like, they call the TV the box. I think his fundamental issue is that, like, Ma and Pa Kent are overweight. Which, like, we're in 2025 America. That's the case for a lot of people in the socioeconomic position of Ma and Pa Kent. Okay?
And by the way, both of them are alive in this, right? The original Superman mythos is that Pa Kent dies, and that's what sends Superman on his journey. Anyway, Crypto.
Wait, that's not what sends Superman on his journey. He moves to the big city because he graduates high school and he wants to go to college.
The super dog is a terrible dog, is a dog that does not, like an idiot dog.
Yeah, we find out why. We find out why at the end of the film. It's great.
Like most right-wingers, he fetishizes the rural poor for their votes but secretly despises them for their poverty.
Oh, absolutely, Nomi Sunrider. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Like, way worse than my dog Happy. My dog Happy, way better than this dog, and my dog makes trouble. This dog is a mess. Supergirl, who you get introduced to for a hot second at the very end, Supergirl is a drunken teenage brat.
Yeah, because teenagers would never get drunk or be brats, especially after their planet was blown up.
Right, like anything that you think you know about the Superman universe, James Gunn is determined to debunk in the first.
Also, okay, since Ben already brought it up, the Supergirl reveal is like 1 minute long at the end of the film, and it's basically there to just go like, oh, that's her dog. Yeah, that explains why this dog isn't very well behaved. Like, yeah. She's off partying all the time and not, like, training her dog. So the dog spends a lot of time with Clark in the Fortress of Solitude. Like, it's also, like, for as big of a hot mess as Supergirl is in this movie, it is really fucking funny.
Half hour of the film. I think that it's a betrayal of the original IP and mildly upsetting. Not like hugely upsetting, but mildly upsetting. That is my critique of James Gunn. He is not the right person for this film because James Gunn is not capable of delving. He's just not. He's not capable of delving into a single character and examining his motivations and what's interesting about that character. He can't do it with Superman. He can't do it with Lois. He can't do it with Lex.
I mean, I think that you can come to that conclusion only if you are, again, completely and utterly illiterate when it comes to media. Like, the idea that this movie didn't delve deeply into Superman's character or Lois's character or, like, talk about what they were actually, like, what motivated them or test their convictions. Like, this movie literally, like, goes through and, like, systematically not constructs, but, like, systematically challenges the preconceived notions and ideas each of these characters have. And, like, James Gunn is really fucking good at that, especially when it comes to more archetypical, like, character writing, like in comic books. Like, he's good at that. It's, like, one of his strong suits, actually. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, the idea that anyone knew or cared who Rocket Raccoon was before James Gunn came along? Do you have any idea how small the Rocket Raccoon fan club was before, like, James Gunn basically wrote a trilogy about Rocket Raccoon? But no, this guy's not good at character writing. Fuck off, man. Like, you don't even understand. Yeah, Rocket Raccoon was a joke. And James Gunn turned him into, like, the heart of the franchise. I still don't know who Rocket Raccoon is? Then you need to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Instead, he decides he's just going to toss everything into the stew. And so you end up...
He doesn't. It's actually fairly restrained when it comes to, like, the wildness of that is the DC universe.
In order to truly delve into the character of Superman, you need a man of convictions and principles, with rugged good looks, who can talk at over 500 words per minute and a sexy yarmulke. DWA.
Paladin, thank you for the $5 dono.
With this sort of ADHD film where a bunch of things are going on at the same time, but you never get a good, interesting perspective on anybody who's in the film. So
yeah, I mean, again, if you're not paying attention, I guess.
Lantern is there, and he's kind of just a schmuck, and he's there as comic relief. And then you have Mr.
Yeah, that's Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is basically just an asshole Green Lantern, and is kind of a dork about it.
Terrific, who's the actual hero of the film, who you learn nothing about other than he's just kind of a noble do-gooder fellow. And you have all these superheroes who are wandering around. You never get any...
Wait, you do learn about Mr. Terrific, and that's that, like, dude is really, really advanced in a lot of ways, and, you know, just incredibly autistic, just as, like, a point of his character, and I find it incredibly endearing.
Information about them that makes them interesting or sympathetic or even particularly cool. But you don't know the motivations of any of the villains.
Now, that it is true. By the end of the movie, I didn't know a whole lot about Hawk Girl, but, like, I think it's fine. I think that's fine.
Except for Lex, who it turns out is just really kind of jealous of Superman because Superman has superpowers, and Lex is like, I'm really smart, and Superman is really strong, so why do people like Superman more than they like me? Which is a pretty...
No, it's because he wants to destroy Superman because Lex Luthor in this movie buys into the eugenicist beliefs that Superman rejects. That's part of like the text of the film. Like he is aligned with Clark's Kryptonian parents in thinking that like Kryptonians are, you know, in some sense genetically superior and have these gifts that, you know, regular human beings don't have, and that is something that makes him on a fundamental level of his being despise Superman's very existence. You know, he wants to destroy that which is better than him. He goes on an entire monologue about how he views it as demeaning to be considered in the same breath as like the greatest thinkers that we know on the planet today. He considers it demeaning because he thinks he's better than all of that. And in order to demonstrate that his own superiority, the superiority of his genes, he wants to destroy Superman. Because Lex Luthor in this film is a white supremacist. You know? Like that is the correct reading of the film here.
Boring motivation, to be frank. So the characters are complete pastiches. They're just cardboard cutouts. Even the moments that are supposed to hit don't hit because there's so much going on in the background because James Gunn cannot control his ADHD. He just cannot.
I think he was pooping his brains out for the next 36 hours.
There's a scene where Clark and Lois, they've had a fight and now they're back together and they're having a talk. And it's supposed to be this very intimate talk where they're speaking with each other. And literally outside the window, Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific and Hawk Girl are fighting a gigantic sort of eye monster that looks like it's from Suicide Squad.
Stop it right there, Joker. You'll never get me back.
Yeah, also, that scene is great. Like, it is low-key funny, but it becomes like kind of this beautiful moment. It's like an emotional through line for their relationship in the film. And it's beautiful, like, visually, but also funny conceptually. Like, it hits on multiple levels at once, making it actually a very efficient use of storytelling time in a film.
It's extremely distracting because he's James Gunn and everything has to be some sort of dumb joke. You're like, well, shouldn't Superman be doing something about it? No, let them handle it. Again, that's irritating.
I mean, if something hits on multiple levels at once, then it rewards multiple viewings. I think that's fun. I think that makes for a rich text.
As far as the plot itself makes very little sense. The plot is basically that Lex Luthor has decided that he is going to make a deal with a foreign politician who the left wants to believe is both Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu, but actually is just kind of nothing,
No, he's Benjamin Netanyahu for sure.
To invade another country. And Superman stops that.
And like Ben is, I don't know if Ben is like feigning confusion here, but like the reason people even make the comparison to Putin is because dude's speaking like a language that sounds like Russian. And like the geopolitical maneuvers though are Israel and Palestine.
Invasion. Apparently Lex wants to use this as an excuse to box up Superman, saying that he's running counter to American foreign policy. Now we've seen that iteration in other movies, right? That was in Batman versus Superman. You've seen it in other versions of the Superman story, but it's not really taken kind of to its ultimate extreme politically. In any case, it turns out that what he really wants is to annex half of this separate country. He's going to split it with this other dictator. One major plot hole. Lex Luthor is obviously the smartest person in the film. So smart, he can create his own universes. This is a major plot point.
Well, no. And I feel like you don't understand the movie you watched, considering he's surrounded by a bunch of other brilliant scientists. Multiple places that people visit where Lex supposedly did a huge science breakthrough, those places are surrounded by teams of scientists and researchers. Like, it's not him alone doing these things. He's paying people to do it for him. That's like, come on, man.
and he is concerned about a relatively small piece of land occupied by third worlders. This is his big plan. And later it turns out that he said, oh, no, I started that war just so that I could get people to turn against Superman. Okay, well, he does that halfway through the film, and then he jails him, and then he leaves him alive and explains the secondary plan that apparently was his primary plan.
Yeah, he explains it because he thought in the middle of the film that he had won. He has Superman under his control. He's just bringing in like one last interrogator to like ask questions for the Department of Defense, and then he's going to execute Superman. And like, he didn't foresee Superman escaping from an alternate dimension prison black site that he had. He didn't foresee that because, again, he's a narcissist who's high on his own supply. So he thought his plan was foolproof, and it turned out not to be. So he explains pretty clearly in the movie that his plan, ultimately, the final part of the plan was he wants Superman killed. He wants Superman dead and gone. He wants to triumph over Superman. That's like his main motivation. If in the process of doing that, he can also become king of a country, that's even better for him. So that's what he was doing.
Man, sort of. But he doesn't kill Superman at the time for a reason that remains undisclosed.
We hear that he killed 27 children, and you're always going to make mistakes, but that's how it is.
The entire plot is a complete mess. If you try to chart it, there's no way to do it because James Gunn doesn't care about plot. James Gunn doesn't care about characters. James Gunn cares about jokes.
I don't know how you can walk out of the movie theater on this one and come to either of those conclusions.
Jokes and aesthetics. That's what James Gunn cares about.
Nobody cares anymore.
It's very difficult to make Clark a hero in a situation in which the plot is a complete mess. And again, that's not a rip on Nicholas Hoult, who I love in everything. I think he's great. Or David Corenswet or Rachel Brosnahan. That's a rip on James Gunn as a script writer. It's just not a good script. Okay, we'll get to more.
Dude, you do not have the high ground to judge anyone's script. We've read parts of your book, man. You're a failed screenwriter. Come on, dude.
Of this Superman review, this overlong and overcritical Superman review in a moment. First, it's rather ironic when you think about it. James Gunn has an addiction to kind of gross and weird imagery, which doesn't really fit in the context of the, again, Americana that is Superman. And
what are you talking about? Superman gets beaten to death by a guy with like crystal shards for arms in the first comic book where he dies. Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, he's been beaten up before in comics with a lot of viscera involved.
So there's some really gross and weird images, particularly in the Pocket universe, where you have characters who are turning themselves into weird tentacly octopuses, and you have...
Wait, your biggest problem with the movie was the fact that, like, Element Man had, like, weird little octopus arms at one point? That was your that's the weird imagery you're talking about? One of the most visually stunning parts of the film that was so fun to watch? Okay.
People's eyes being attacked on a wide variety of... He has an obsession with eyes, James Gunn, and you can see it in Suicide Squad. He has like an obsession with the eyeball being pierced, and it's very strange and off-putting. My wife was very off-put by a lot of this imagery. It feels like psychedelic LSD CGI vomit is what it...
Yeah. Also, it's about a man who flies with his underpants on the outside of his suit, and he wears a cape. It's supposed to be visually interesting.
Feels like for large portions of the film. You never really get a kinetic scene of Superman doing something cool. You have multiple scenes of giant heavy objects.
What do you mean? You see so many scenes of cool shit happening? It's crazy.
Falling on Superman and Superman stopping the giant heavy objects from falling to save an individual. Again, another plot hole. You'll have a giant building. The entire building will fall, and he will stop the building from falling to save one person or a chipmunk.
That's not a plot hole, Ben. That's just something you didn't like. I'm sorry, the idea that Superman pausing what he's doing to go save someone who's in danger, that's a plot hole to you? Superman doing the most Superman thing you can possibly imagine is a plot hole? dog, why do they keep putting out these dog shit media takes from the Daily Wire? Michael Knowles also did one of these, and I don't think I have the stomach to watch it. I can't handle 2 of these.
Is in the way, but it's an entire building full of people, so presumably all those people are dead. In any case, the visuals, I think, are a problem. The music, again, I'm John Williams is still alive. Just hire him to do your Superman movie, you stupid.
He's like 1 billion years old, Ben. What are you talking about? Also, the soundtrack to this movie was fine. It was great. I liked the updated, like, John Williams score. I thought it was really good. I had misgivings coming in from some of the trailers, but, like, it was really nice and good, actually.
Just stop it.
Get some help.
I get very exercised. This is the only thing that really exercises me about this. John Williams, his original Superman score is one of the great scores in all of movie history. It is a phenomenal score, beginning to end. It may be John Williams' best score. I love that score so much. It is a great, great score. It is magic. And what do? They take the original theme and they play a few notes from it because it's so iconic, and then they underscore it with nothing, with like a pedal tone. It sucks. The music is awful. The score is terrible. Just play the original score.
All right, so I'm going to do something bold here, and it might get cut out of the final segment because copyright. However, I'm going to play the theme from the Superman film, if I can. Here we go. Where is the title track? I guess this would be it. It's either Last Sun or Look Up. Let's go with Last Sun. Might not have been the exact one I was looking for, but it's nice. Like, I like how it updates here. like, the music is actually really, really good. It's real good shit, actually.
Let's say, hypothetically, that Superman is a base IDF soldier, then walk sharply.
I think the one I might have been looking for is this one, though. Yeah, this is it. Sorry. Like, you can hear the John Williams score in there. It's good stuff. Okay, we could continue listening to the soundtrack all night, but like it's really good shit. And I don't think saying, "Oh, it's just awful." They just did a guitar strum and they put some strings under it. Oh, just play the original score. Like it's a new movie. Let it do new musical things. Like the John Williams score, legendary. Absolutely legendary.
Superman as a Zionist would never work. The whole concept of Superman is an alien learning to become a human being. Of course, conservatives cannot relate.
Well, yeah, the issue that conservatives run into is that fundamentally, like, Superman rejects the idea that a billionaire should dictate to humanity. You know, like, his arch nemesis is a billionaire businessman for a reason. You know? Like, it's a good soundtrack.
The original score is good. The original score is magic. You feel the magic when Superman flies in the original score. Like,
Yeah,
what
it
are you
is.
doing? Okay, then we get to the actual politics. So I know this is what people.
They literally weave the motif of that John Williams soundtrack throughout the entirety of the Superman soundtrack. It's there all the time, and when Superman is doing something particularly heroic, it rises in intensity.
People are waiting for. They're waiting for my political rip on this film. So we've been told this is a movie about illegal immigration. Not really. Honestly, like you have to look.
You have to look. You have to actually like think about it a little bit. If you don't think about it, it's not in there. It's like, dude, they literally black bag Superman, deny him due process, put him in a private prison where they then torture him and try to like extract information about him. Like, yeah, it's actually very similar to what's happening right now to a lot of people across the United States.
To find that. There's one line where Clark is saying, "Aren't you going to read me my rights?" James Gunn's politics is so...
Yeah, they don't. They put him in a CIA black site run by Lex Luthor.
Although admittedly his best friend in the Justice League is also a billionaire who dictates to humanity while punching the mentally ill in NYC.
That's true. Batman should really get his act together and just be like a class traitor.
Ham-handed, like truly ham-handed, that it doesn't even read as political, it just reads as stupid. So there's a moment where Clark...
Also, if you think that this is the only moment in the movie that touches on, like, undocumented immigration, like, they literally, like Lex Luthor literally, like, looks in the camera in the final act of the movie and goes on a long, rambling rant about how much he hates, you know, Superman for being an alien in his country. Like, it's I don't know, illegal alien. It's a term that's being thrown around a lot right now. Ben has probably heard it in the circles he runs in.
Being arrested, and he says, "Aren't you going to read me my rights?" And one of the members of the government says, "Well, you're now considered an enemy alien, right? You don't have any rights."
Yeah. I wonder if there's any precedent for, I don't know, the current sitting president of the United States who ran on mass deportations now and mass building of concentration camps for said mass deportations. I wonder if there's any overlap there.
It's because you're not an American. All right. Like, if that's supposed to be some sort of like
Yes, they're saying he's not an American because he wasn't born here, Ben.
Anti-ICE sentiment, it's really weak. Also, legally incredibly stupid, considering that he came to Earth as a baby and then was adopted by an American family, which would make him American.
That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation.
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
There's a suggestion that he says truth, justice, and the human way. I didn't catch that anywhere in the film. The sort of social media politics that social media is stupid and rigged by bots, which, I mean, I think everybody sort of agrees on at this point. And there's a really dumb visual joke where Alexis set up actual monkeys typing into computers.
It's not a dumb visual joke. It's actually a really fun visual joke. They literally reveal that Lex Luthor in this pocket dimension he created has 1 million monkeys typing at 1 million different computers to shitpost. And honestly, I think that's great. I think that's wonderful.
As his bots. It's like, oh God. But that's so James Gunn. Again, it's all so... I just don't like James Gunn. I mean, just to be... And again,
I mean, also, that's fair. Like, if you don't like James Gunn, you don't like James Gunn. But, like, the movie's solid.
One of the people who, when James Gunn was first fired from the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise in July 2018 over bad old tweets, I actually defended him at the time. So it's not about, like, anything personal with James Gunn. I just don't like his movies very much. The other politics of the situation are supposedly this foreign policy thing. So the left is suggesting that the foreign policy conflict in which Superman engages is a stand-in for Israel and the Palestinians, or alternatively for Russia and Ukraine. So let me give you the geopolitical setup.
It's a bunch of highly equipped militaristic folks who are white invading a neighboring country of unarmed peasants who are Middle Eastern. Like, it's pretty blatantly Israel-Palestine.
Geopolitical setup here is that there is a country called Boravia, and this country called Boravia is run by essentially a corrupt dictator who's working with Lex Luthor, and it invades another sovereign country, Jarhanpur. Okay, and so Superman stops that at the very beginning. Okay, like, and doesn't show him stopping it. He talks to Lois Lane about it. Fine. Okay, the idea is geopolitically that Boravia has been a longtime ally of the United States. Jarhanpur is a country where we don't know who it's allied with. And it may or may not be run by jihadis, but we don't know. Like, we don't know who it's run by. It doesn't matter. The only reason...
I mean, Lois Lane literally mentions that its leadership is run by terrorists. So, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying, it's really, I feel like it's pretty on the nose.
That Clark stops it, that Superman stops it, is he says because
people were going to die.
Literally the most Superman response to the Israel-Palestine conflict you can possibly imagine.
which, as we'll get to in sort of my final breakdown of why this movie doesn't work and why no really good Superman movie has been made since 78.
What did he say?
I'll explain in a moment. The people of Jarhampur are brown.
Look at my African American over here.
The people of Bravia are white. Okay, so this is why.
Oh God, that Donald Trump clip was not. I am of the opinion that Ben Shapiro's editor team, that must consist of Zoomers, hate him and are trying to undermine him. That is my persistent conspiracy theory about Daily Wire content these days.
Why the left is reading this as Israel the Palestinians. The reason it doesn't work that way is because we are not made aware that the people of Jarhampur are either wildly terrorism supportive, that they have participated in multiple terrorist attacks on the people of Bravia. They are led by a corrupt dictatorship that murders gay people, right? None of that's in the movie.
Yeah. Let's not pay any attention to the fact that Israel also murders gay people, and in fact, way more gay people. You know, let's just... In the movie, if we're just dealing with the text of the film, the Barovia forces are intending to shoot and massacre children.
So it doesn't match up that way. And the idea that Barovia is Israel in this iteration, like a longtime U.S. ally that's randomly invading countries for territorial gain, that does not...
Yeah, don't look at what Israel's doing in Syria, by the way. Don't look at the territory they're seizing. Don't look at the various highly publicized conferences where they talk about the desire to form Greater Israel. Don't look at any of that.
Match up to any of the facts on the ground that we know of at all. That is not real. So maybe in left-wing brain, that's how it reads. I could see if you're a left-winger and you don't know anything about the situation, or you think a bunch of false things, you could read that maybe. You could also read this as Russia-Ukraine because it's one sovereign country that's invading another sovereign country, and because the leader of Bravia has a Russian accent. So I guess that if you have like poison left brain.
The Russians are nuking us. Go! Go, go, go! We're all gonna die! Come on, come on! The missiles are coming! They've lost their mind! Go! Get to the gym!
But you certainly don't have to read it that way. And I'm not going to read it that way because it's stupid and it doesn't make any sense politically. It makes no sense. Okay. So this brings me to
That's true. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to read it as Russia-Ukraine.
My final point about this movie and all other Superman movies. The fundamental flaw in all Superman movies of my lifetime is the thing that Hollywood cannot say and will not do.
Politics, does he still stand for truth, justice, all that stuff?
The only Superman movie that I have ever seen that uses truth, justice, and the American way is the original 1978 Superman.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
This is not just a throwaway line. It is deeply important to the character of Superman.
It's not. It was added like over 10 years after Superman the character was created. It was created during the McCarthy era. And I don't know if anyone knows about this little thing called the Comics Code. Anyone familiar? But basically, it was self-policing and censorship, and one of the things that was done to get Superman on the good side of the Comics Code was to add the American way. So it's actually not a fundamental component of the American of the character. It's actually a symptom of fear spread by the McCarthyist era of America. It's actually a denigration of the character.
Why? Well, because take Superman just as a character. Superman is unbelievably powerful, unstoppable. He's faster than anyone. He has X-ray and laser vision. He's stronger than anyone, right? He's basically a god on Earth, and the biggest god. He's Zeus, right? He can do whatever he wants. And so, why?
Well, he's not Zeus, because Zeus is in the DC pantheon, and so he's just not that.
Why is he the good guy? Why isn't Lex Luthor right? Because, let's be real, if there were a person on Earth who actually had those powers, Americans would rightly be very much afraid of that.
Oh, gross. It's so gross. Like, if you're a conservative and you're watching this, are you, like, You just compared Donald Trump to fucking Superman? Are you like how far gone are you? Like how deep in the bottle? Jesus.
Correctly. As Federalist 51 suggests, you need ambition to counteract ambition. If any one person had ultimate power, what you're...
He edited out Lois' response of, well, you'll have to fight every elected official then. Even the original Superman knew that saying was Zeus.
It's true! Thank you for the $5 super chat, Nomi Sunrider, and for reminding us about a great
Truth,
film.
Justice, and the American Way is the Superman equivalent of the addition of
yes,
under God to the Pledge of Allegiance. Also, fuck you, Ben Sham Bam Boom.
True, Knifey is Duck. Thank you for the $5 dono. Appreciate it.
really talking about is a philosopher king. And that's pretty scary because that person could be a dictator, simply doing whatever they want to the world. The only reason why Superman would be a hero as opposed to a villain is because he grew up in America, because he has the American way, right? He's emblematic of what America is.
No, that's not the only reason. He had, in fact, in this movie, it's made clear that that has nothing to do with who he is as a person. What matters is the choices he makes and the decisions he makes that form who he is. You get to make the choices, not your parents, and certainly not your country. And Superman, in almost any iteration, would understand that, Ben. Only someone who truly doesn't understand Superman could say what you just did.
May blunder, may make mistakes, but overall stands for freedom and liberty.
Yeah, Lex Luthor famously also grew up in America. Exactly, Nomi Sunrider.
Private property and free speech and all of those things.
All that stuff.
Right? All the good American...
Superman doesn't value private property, Ben. Have you ever watched a Superman movie? Like, ever? Or read a comic book? He cares about people's lives.
American stuff. There's a great comic book called Superman Red Sun. It's an alternative universe in which Superman's capsule from Krypton lands in Soviet Russia. And he grows up as the emblem of Soviet Russia. And he's evil because he grew up in Soviet Russia. Because if you give that power, that amount of power to an evil ideology, then evil ensues. So this is why it's really important. It's not just truth, justice, and the human way, or truth, justice, and all that good stuff. There's a specific definition of Americanism that says that this is why America...
Yeah, the issue that you're having is that Superman fundamentally isn't just for America. Superman would, like, spit on the very idea of America first. Like, the idea of being so self-serving and to reject the needs of your neighbors, that's an ideology that Superman would correctly identify as evil.
For example, should be a world power because America is better than other countries. And people who live in accordance with Americanism make the world better if they have...
And again, I'm just gonna throw this out there, Ben. Like, your argument is that Superman should be a dictator. Like, your argument here is that America is better, therefore America should be in charge of the world. Your argument here is that, like, Superman is better, and therefore should be in charge. Like, your ideology leads to a Superman dictatorship. That's the issue you're running into here.
More power. That's why America is good. Because otherwise, Superman is bad, and Lex Luthor is right, and we should restrict his power. And we should jail him, and we should check and balance him, and we should not let him be free. The problem is that Hollywood cannot say the American way because they don't believe in the American way. They don't believe that America is unique. They don't...
I love that this man pointed out that, like, truth, justice, and the American way dates from the 1950s and not from the origin of the character. And I'm just gonna throw this out there. Okay? I was gonna bring this up the other day, but there wasn't, like, a good point to, like, bring it up. Let me take this here. All right. Let me pull this up. Here is the very first appearance of Superman ever.
All right, going to put on my nerd hat for a moment. In Superman Red Sun, Superman eventually turns on Stalin because he is fundamentally a good guy.
That's super cool. I like that. Thank you for that knowledge, Knifeiest Duck, and thank you for the $5 dono. Here's the very first panel Superman ever appeared in. It reads, Superman, champion of the oppressed, the physical marvel who had sworn to devote his existence to helping those in need. And notice that this isn't anything to do with him being American. The oppressed are not just American in America. This is a man who has dedicated himself to all who are oppressed. Ben fundamentally disagrees with the character of Superman. Like, fundamentally doesn't understand it, and in fact rejects this understanding of Superman. What he wants is the McCarthyite Red Scare version of Superman, where the comic book artists and writers were too terrified, lest they come on the wrong side of the US government, and so they edited what they had to say. And changed it to what was it? What was it again? Did we have like an actual good example of what it was? Why, yes, we did, in fact. Remember when we read this post from a Nazi newspaper? Let's take a look. What did they say Superman's catchphrase was? Ah, yes. He appeals to the ideals of American children under the cry, strength, courage, justice. Instead of taking wise advantage of the opportunity really to further serious virtues, he sows hate, dissension, injustice, laziness, and crime. That was the line of the Nazi party when it came to Superman. And I just can't really... I can't really deal with the fact that, like, this dude just doesn't get it. He's like, they can't say truth, justice, in the American way anymore. The original catchphrase of Superman, when that wasn't even the original catchphrase of Superman.
Don't believe in these American basic values and principles and rights. They have a hard time.
America doesn't believe in those basic principles and rights, Ben. We are building literal concentration camps for political dissidents. We're disappearing hundreds of people on a daily basis into said concentration camps. And you don't believe in those principles either, because you actually think it's good to oppress people, as long as, they deserve the oppression in your eyes.
Even with the idea that, like, the values of Ma and Pa Kent back on the farm are values that ought to be promulgated in the best of all possible circumstances. And so what they come away with in kind of the key moment in this movie, for example, is Pa Kent telling Clark that parents don't make missions for their kids, right? They don't make their kids kind of what they are in terms of what they should be. They give kids the tools to choose what they want to be, and then those...
Yes, that is how children work. Children are independent people. They are not clay for parents to mold as they, I don't know. They're not your property, Ben.
Choices make those kids what they are. Okay, that's kind of half true and half not. Of course, you give your kids the tools to make choices in life.
Yeah.
But you also try to define the mission your kid should have in life. That's maybe the most important thing you do.
You don't get to decide what your children's goals in life are, Ben. Fuck you.
As a parent, direct them in a world of choices at what is the ultimate good, what is the ultimate goal. Hollywood is not run by people who believe that there is such a thing as an ultimate good or an ultimate goal. It's run by moral relativists who have a kind of, at best, soft-pedaled, generic, be nice attitude toward the world, which is why Superman's defense of intervening in this foreign conflict is, people were going to die. Okay.
People were going to die, said Superman, champion of the oppressed, who has sworn to devote his existence to helping those in need. Genuinely, again, having seen the movie, I'm pretty sure Superman embodies this first comic appearance better than any other, depiction. Genuinely. Like, I love the Christopher Reeve Superman, don't get me wrong, but like, dude literally talks about how his goal is to help those in need, to prevent the oppression of those who are currently oppressed. He he turns and looks into the camera and basically says it. It's not subtle.
Well, people would die on the other side, presumably, if you didn't intervene. Or people die every day in conflicts all over the world. Right? The reason that Clark or Superman is supposed to intervene is because one side is right and one side is wrong.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the movie, Ben, but the finale of the film is punctuated by the side that was wrong beginning to shoot and shell unarmed farmers and children, while the children raise a flag and beg for Superman to save them, and a soldier from the invading force raises a gun to shoot them. It's not fucking subtle.
And unless you are willing to simply say that all foreign policy situations in which people die under any circumstances are equivalent, which I don't think is right, then you end up in this kind of weird generic place. The central question of Superman has never really been handled by any movie, and it's certainly not handled here, which is, why should one person be given this much power? And the answer is, he shouldn't, unless he is essentially just a metaphor for what makes America awesome.
What are you talking about? It's not... No depiction of Superman is, should he have that much power, because the issue at hand is that he does have that power. And it is how he chooses to use it and how he interacts with the world that define him. God. Is Ben seriously saying people were going to die isn't enough for Superman to save them? Yes, that is what Ben is saying.
Which is what Superman was designed to be. This is why Superman in the original comics is punching Hitler. Because he is the American way and not the German way or the Soviet way or the Chinese way, which are different things. So again, that is the fatal flaw, I think, for pretty much all.
I mean, I don't think it's a fatal flaw to be in favor of truth, justice, and like be a champion of the oppressed. I don't think that's actually a fatal flaw if he's not a nationalist. Like, Ben Shapiro's main problem with Superman is that he's not enough of a nationalist, when literally this entire film is about him saving Americans and other people too.
Superman movies, but in this one specifically, they don't even bother with any of that. It's cotton candy. You'll watch it. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe you'll be like me and be overcritical. You'll walk away. 2 days later, you won't be thinking about the movie. 2 hours later, you won't be thinking about the movie. Nothing about the movie is going to stick with you. The hero of the movie is the dog. Superman has to be saved multiple times by this, like, not particularly good dog.
That's what makes the dog so much better, though. Like, the dog is a metaphor for Superman, you know? Like, the dog is just trying its best. And, like, it fucks up all the time, but that doesn't make it a bad dog, you know? Like, Superman's trying his best to do good in the world, and he's fucking up. But that's what it means to be a human. That's what it means to be alive. It's why they're two good... It's why they go well together.
And, I mean, he's a good doggo, I suppose, but he really is badly behaved, this dog. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, my overall review, 2 out of 5 stars. Meh. I think that the stars do their best with bad material given to them by James Gunn.
The worms going in through the mouth and helping him as he's sobbing. And, you know, it's kneeling at the end of the bed, and I was on the other side of the bed for that whole time.
Good job by David Corenswet. Good job by Rachel Brosnahan. Good job by Nicholas Hoult. Good job by Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific. But, you know, Superman, as I say, super meh.
Wow, that was awful. But you know what's not awful? Superman. Go see it in theaters while you can. It was really, really fun to see it on a big screen. And I would recommend seeing it on a big screen. It's worth going to a movie theater. And remember, folks, like, it doesn't have to be truth, justice, in the American way, but it does have to be truth, justice, and the champion of the oppressed. I think those are way more important aspects and attributes than the American way. Because, I don't know, after Vietnam, after the War on Terror, after the various military interventions America has pursued following World War II, the American way hasn't been very great in many capacities on the surface of this here Earth. And I think it is better for someone to dedicate themselves to ideals like truth, justice, and ending oppression. I think those are actually attributes that we hold up as heroic, as a people, as a culture, and I think those are worth honoring rather than loyalty to any one nation. Truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. Hear, hear, Velvet. Hear, hear. Whew. We did it, folks. That is a 3.5 hour discussion we've had. A lot of Superman talk. Also, theaters have killer sound systems. Okay. Also, just for my taste, the Alamo Drafthouse big screen experience was too loud. It was actually too loud for me. But the big screen was very, very much the route to go. Your theater was also too loud? I wonder if it's just like the volume they have on some of these things. Wait, what did the comments say? This review was sponsored by Luther Corp. Ben would definitely say Baravia has a right to defend itself. Ben Shapiro disliking a film is the highest praise it could receive. Came here for the comments, didn't disappoint. Okay, this was pretty fucking great. People were going to die is a perfectly valid reason for Superman to act. He's a hero. The entire point of being a superhero, aside from stopping evil, is to prevent people from dying. Wait, so now Superman's against genocide? Who signed off on this radical idea? This is how I know the movie's good. My 6-year-old looked at me after the movie and asked me to pick him up and fly like Superman. I mean, that is sweet, but I would not take a 6-year-old to this movie. They literally shoot the poor falafel guy right in the head in front of Superman. Yeah. Also, this comment is really good. There's a scene where Superman saves a squirrel in the middle of a fight. That 5 seconds explained everything you need to know about Superman's character and motivation. Yep, 100%. It's super, super sweet. God. So fucking good. All right. Segment done. No more Superman talk. I saw Temple of Doom when I was 6. Oh, Jesus Christ. Out of all the people who would actually make a Squirrel Girl film, James Gunn would definitely be up there. Oh, boy. James Gunn would make a Squirrel Girl film where she solos Thanos. That is kind of her MO. Now, folks, I'm really tired and it's really fucking hot in this basement. I'm gonna like get like a little air conditioning unit when I get my studio made, and I'm gonna be able to exist down here in the summertime. Saw The Rocketeer at like 5. The Rocketeer fucking slaps. More people need to watch The Rocketeer. Have I seen Creature Commandos? I've seen like the first 3 episodes. It's pretty fun. I played Metal Gear Solid when I was 2. I don't know that I believe that. And if you did, that's really impressive. The controls are hard. Haven't seen The Rocketeer in a long time. It absolutely holds up, Rainbow Krampus. It absolutely holds up. And maybe I'll stream some of that on the Discord. Not tonight, but maybe like tomorrow. We'll see. I don't need help. I'm in the process of moving into my my partner, and my new studio. I can't talk. I'm so tired. My new studio still needs to be built, and it should be done in like a month. But until then, I'll be here, and decreasingly less so over at my main location. Yeah, The Rocketeer is just such a fun fucking movie. Okay. Remember to like the stream, comment, subscribe, do the things, hit the follow button, and consider dropping those subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. Also, Sake Tanuki, I don't know if I thanked you for the gifted subs, but thank you so goddamn much for the gifted subs. And also, thank y'all for supporting the show, folks. Been really nice to get back to it after a long weekend. I will see you all tomorrow. Drink plenty of water, get good sleep, all that stuff. All right. Bye, everybody.
When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. Is there aught we hold in common with the greedy parasite, who would lash us into serfdom and would crush us with his might? Is there anything left to us but to organize and fight, for the union makes us strong? Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. It It is we who plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving midst the wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. All the world that's owned by idle drones is ours and ours alone. We have laid the wide foundations, built it skyward stone by stone. It is ours not to slave in, but to master and to own, while the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, but without our brain and muscle not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.